my voice is like giving Gibbs from the Bee Gees sometimes. This flu is hellacious, and watch out for it.
Shouldn't have taken that COVID jab.
Thank you for the
You're gonna keep getting it over and over again. You're immunocompromised.
Crucial thing.
Is it hate speech to say you're immunocompromised?
We need a Democratic club on Clubhouse. Maybe Rick could help create that.
Rick Sanchez to the rescue!
Like, absolutely unites our party together. We need to figure that out. It's essential.
And
Party?
I agree.
I am the party!
Steve Crone looks like he's free now, and we had asked him to come. I want to be respectful of people's time too. We're hoping to keep it to an hour, but we're going to the 90 minutes. So, and Steve, if you're free and can do a little SCOTUS briefing for us.
Steve, will there be Supreme Court confidential today?
I don't think so, unfortunately. I got too much going on. I've got about seven minutes. Not that we'll take the whole 7 minutes, but I have another call at 10:30. So I guess just to briefly touch on both of the two cases that I mentioned earlier. First, of course, today's case. I have to say, before I heard the oral arguments, I really thought there was close to zero chance that the Trump regime could win this case. I really did. After hearing the oral arguments, I'm slightly less confident, only slightly. I don't believe they're going to win. But the basis on which the case will be decided and what the split will be, it to me is a little unclear after today. And again, this is not in the area of analysis. I mean, this is strictly just, prognosticating about the result. I haven't said one thing about the substance yet. But my best guess of how the case is going to turn out, I think the Trump folks lose. I think the executive order is held to be illegal. I think there's a decent chance that they just rely on a statute and say that it violates the Immigration Naturalization Act. Chance that they get into all of the constitutional parts of it, but I'm not convinced they will. I think we will see a number of opinions in this case. And I'll get into the technical.
Please come in here. I don't want to.
Sorry,
El, you're on.
The moderators can deal with that. Yeah. But to get into the analysis just a little, I think it's just astounding the level to it, and this is at a high level, not the specifics of this case. It's astounding to me the degree to which this notion of originalism, which now means, the new phrase is original public meaning, right? That's how we're supposed to interpret the Constitution according to its original public meaning at the time of its adoption. It's just extraordinary, the tentacles of this ridiculous monster. It just creates the most absurd of arguments. The executive order specifically denies birthright citizenship to undocumented residents, documented people present in the U.S., even if they're not residents.
Children of, right?
It denies birthright citizenship. Only someone being born can have, yes. So that built into that is the concept of a person being born. So it's the babies. At the time that the amendment was adopted, the concept of an undocumented person didn't even exist. And so you just get these Alice in Wonderland arguments that really, if you just take a step back, they just don't make any sense at all. Trying to argue about the quote-unquote original public meaning of the 14th Amendment and what that means with respect to a category of people that was not even a coherent concept at the time that the amendment was adopted, is just it's the same thing we saw in the abortion case. It's the same thing we've seen in the Second Amendment cases, where you just get this ridiculous kind of analysis. And I suspect there's going to be more than one justice who is going to adopt the position that was urged by the Solicitor General today. But I don't think it's going to be a majority of the court. I cannot see 5 justices gripping birthright citizenship away from, I guess, what's estimated to be, I don't know, 150, 200,000 people a year. And furthermore, as was mentioned in the questioning, several justices, and this is a theme with the Trump regime and their strategy at the Supreme Court, several justices asked the question, we know now you're only asking for us to say that it's legal to do what the executive order does, which is only prospectively, right? It doesn't apply to anyone who's already born. It only applies to future births. But, said the justices, the logic of the government's position would apply just as much to people who were born last year or 5 years ago, or for that matter, 80 years ago. And again, all you get, and this is true in some other cases too, it was true in the abortion jurisprudence as it developed, is, well, that's all we're asking for today, right? And you really don't get any answer to the very, very scary question. The logic of your argument, if we accept your rationale of why you win this case, that rationale applies just as much to someone born last year as it does to someone who hasn't been born yet. And I just can't see a majority of the justices opening the floodgate to that possibility. Not only that it will mean that children born here tomorrow or after the decision can't be citizens, but that it could then be applied next retroactively to take the citizenship away if the number is 200,000 a year. Okay, if you go back 10 years, that's 2 million people. I don't know if the number's consistent, but you get the idea. So just on a prognostication basis, I don't think they're going to win, but I think there's a good chance they might try to go narrow, just for lack of getting 5 justices to agree. And unfortunately, I just don't have enough time to get into the substance of the arguments on both sides. Maybe at some point, later today or another day, but I'm just in the middle of a lot of craziness. And then I just wanted to mention very briefly the other case, which is even in some ways crazier, at least it's just as crazy, which is essentially there was a case argued, I think it was only a week ago, but maybe time is compressing for me, where the government is basically arguing that because there's a federal law establishing an election day, right? The basic constitutional background here is states get to decide on the manner of doing federal elections for Congress, for president, but the federal government can decide the time. And basically they argued because there was eventually a federal law setting a national election day, the Tuesday thing that we're all familiar with. States can't accept absentee ballots that come in after that. And to listen to that argument, I mean, it's just nuts. And the case, this is my last comment that I have to go, the case was about a jurisprudential concept called preemption, right? Because federal law trumps state law, there's this idea of preemption where the feds can come in and legislate in an area that sort of preempts all state laws. So, the feds might set some sort of standard for something, and it essentially means that the states can't come in and put in standard. Preemption means we've sort of occupied the field with federal law, states, and it was actually a preemption case. They were arguing law setting a national election day. That's all the law does. It just says it's got to be this date. Preempts state laws saying that absentee ballots that are postmarked can be counted for 3 days, or as long as they're received within 5 days, they can be counted, regardless of
Oh, it looks like Steve got his call, so I'm assuming he is going to have to take it.
I want to throw in here also that they are slowly defunding post office. We are only getting our mail here 3 times a week. So when you talk about sending it in post on the right date, they're not necessarily even going to get it within 5.
Have you heard anything about what they're going to do for military? Doesn't the whole military mail in?
I have not yet specifically, but I think this is worth a specific roundup. I was sort of trying to get to this, but
I
know that the military.
I would assume the military are, in large part overseas, so of course they would have to do mail-in ballot.
Yeah, the military and it's military and real absentee ballots aren't
exempt from
for now.
What is a real absentee ballot?
a federally approved one, or
If you're really out of town, not we all vote by mail.
So if you're a senior citizen, you couldn't be in the town that you vote and you just mail your ballot in. You have to go to the polling station.
Well, from what I gather, yeah, and I've been watching this rather carefully as I'm a senior citizen. Yeah, as far as I know, yes, but I believe that our state is going to prevail on this because we're run by Republicans and we've been voting by mail for 20 years.
well, I think you're the state that's promised to do the first legal.
Yeah, I mean, our Attorney General kicks ass.
Well, I think what this means practically is that for anyone who has friends or family or knows any senior citizen, the very concrete thing you could do would be to maybe help them get to the polls.
I think we haven't heard from Larry, Andrea. Larry, you came up on stage. Would you like to speak up?
Welcome, Larry.
Since he's got just to a call. I heard Trump stormed out of the Supreme Court when he heard the arguments being dismantled by his appointees. So I think that to piggyback off of Steve's great comments, he wasn't happy with what he was hearing, and he particularly wasn't happy with what he was hearing from the guys that he's installed on the court. So hopefully that's a good sign.
That's a good way.
Okay, well, we are at time, Andrea. Anybody else would like to have any closing comments before we shut down the room for today?
Pearls of wisdom.
Make sure you have a big belly laugh today about something. Watch something funny, call somebody you like, but chase some joy today.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to be with you all today. Thank you.
We have to win 26 or 28. Otherwise, this MAGA trend might continue for a while. But I think if we win 26 and 28, MAGA will be in the history books. It'll be a weird read. And watch the hell out for this flu and COVID. And it's not just seasonal. It's very strange.
Well,
I hope you feel better, Austin.
Yeah, wishing you better. I just want to say that it's not going to stop at the election. Yeah, we need to win, but as ever, our friends are constantly reminding us, then, it'd be very interesting. What is our project 2029? That'd be a fun room to have. And also, we have to do the hard work of how are we going to get the prices down for people? And what are the other, issues? We need some sort of AI initiative to wake the whole country up to it, to be shaping dialogue and outcomes there. What are we going to do? Should we have a big, New Deal to revive the economy. What are some really simple things that we should get through that about 80 to 90% of Americans agree on, like ending Citizen United or ending term limits. Term limits and ending trading. I almost said ending insider trading in Congress, but you know what I meant.
With basically the tax filing season, if you aren't already doing it, I would recommend volunteering at your local library, help people fill out their tax form for a large portion of people that are not able to do it themselves. Usually they're getting refunds. So just wanted to recommend.
Or sign up to be a poll worker, $300 a day in New York plus $100.
There's also a good link for where anybody senior or lower income can get free tax help to fill out their taxes. And I can try to find the link for that.
And
on that note,
one thing, anyone who's connected to donors or people that would like to give to something worthwhile, there's a number of organizations that are going to be preparing to help protect elections, fight any issues that arise in the elections, and or maybe could look at helping people get there's groups that are helping young people who often need guidance and support to get registered and get their IDs in order, and advise college kids when they have questions. So there's so much to be done, including the regular traditional GOTV organizations, and of course the real small organizations on the ground, like Fair Fight used to be one of them, but others that'll be turning out the vote. So lots to think about.
If we're plugging charities, I would also encourage people to at least look up Doctors Without Borders, because especially with USAID funding minimized under the current administration, those workers need help and need frontline support.
Well, absolutely. All right. Well, I debated between closing out on a really positive "Let's All Love Each Other" song, or going back to 1992 to an Ani DeFranco song that really speaks to the issues of who is a citizen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stream that, and then Andrea, we can shut down the room. We'll be coming back together on Friday. So happy April 1st to everybody, and here we go. And here we go.
With restaurants they going to, getting their bottles together, what clubs they gonna go to. So missing with the restructure. But then they'll come home and complain about how.
Don't forget getting their kids them new Jordans and shit that just came out. Don't forget all that.
Exactly, and you gotta pay for babysitters, and you gotta pay for Ubers and all this different stuff with all these different things. Stop playing.
It's still a big event though. It's
Quit DoorDash.
going to happen for America in 2026. The World Cup is going to be one of the biggest events for American income for 2026. Yeah. And I'm personally, so I'm happy to be an Englishman to go to America and contribute to your.
Don't come over here, bro. Stay where you at.
I'm not you personally.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
So, you said it's hard for you to put food on the table, or you just complaining
For a lot of people. Exactly.
Oh, we got tables in now. We got to pull our table in now.
He eat on his bed. Totem pole eat on his bed, on his pillow. He don't got no table. It's hard.
I just ain't busy.
Yeah, cool. You got money. Yeah, you got money.
Why are you complaining for other people? That's the next question.
But as far as what you were
Why are
saying,
you complaining for other people?
as far as what the sister was saying, I've been saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it, that I like Claude, you might like ChatGPT or another, but
I like Grok.
I truly believe that with your creative black mind and working with the AI, be able to come up with a substantial way to market yourself, create good business, and make good money. But it won't start until you start prompting. It won't start until you start working on it. And you've got to start working on it now. And this is high time to do it. By the end of the summer, you'll have a operable business if that's what you want. And I think that it's all out here for you. Creating LC, creating a C Corp, creating some type of entity for yourself, opening up a bank, creating a Stripe account, and putting things together, putting things up, doing your YouTube, doing your Google research, and network with the right people and put it together. I know that you can put something together, and not everybody is hurting. And so it's time to start networking. You've got a lot of people that are here and there, and I think that you just got to get on and get your roll on. And if you do that, I believe by the end of the year you could be a millionaire.
Can I jump in there real quick? Can I jump in there real quick? Hold on. Jamal, I really appreciate you in April, because it's April. Someone could create a business, a LLC or a C Corp, to your point, and then go out and get funding, and then that business be profitable to make them $1 million. I'd like to see that business model. Anybody has anybody that has that in the works, please DM me. I will give you my personal phone. I'm still talking, Jamal. I will give you my phone number for you to call. Jamal, can I finish? I will give you my phone number for you to call me, because I'd like to see what you have. I like to look at that business model. I may want to invest. Here's the thing. If you have a talent, okay, harvest that talent, but don't just harvest it to get into business. There are many chefs that I know that go out and restaurant but have no business acumen. The two are not synonymous. It doesn't automatically.
Can you say that again, Steph, please, real quick?
Yes, I said I know many chefs that have went out and said they were going to open a restaurant and failed because they have no business acumen. So all I'm saying is that there are many levels and nuances to running a business. That's not to discourage you. Do your due diligence. What I was speaking specifically had to do more money to survive and thrive not in the long term, in the short term. And that's why I brought up, again, other little services that you can
watch us not get a logical response back to
1 second, where you can make your own schedule, things of that nature in business. Listen, getting funding, all means, not only do they take time, but they take know-how. So all I'm going to say is, if there's anyone that is listening that is having a hard time, or knows someone that is, leverage your time for money. If that's what you've got to do, leverage your time for money. But in the grander scheme of business, do your due diligence. Because it's not. Jamal, I'm still talking. Please let me land, sir. I'm landing in 2 seconds.
I'm sorry.
There's some things out here trying to sell you a program. Do this, and I've many courses in creating my business. Many courses. There's a lot of repetitive information out there. So do your. There's a train. Do your due diligence. That's.
Has anybody
watch us not get a logical response to nothing she just said?
Well, I mean, the first logical response is you got to get out of your bed and have some get up and go. I've been working since 3 o'clock in the morning. Right, yeah. You ain't got no company overrides or something, nigga. You'll never make no money. The early bird always gets the worm. Right.
How is that word
been
salad?
working all day.
No.
You gotta get your ass up out of bed.
It's word salad because he literally just said the same thing previously. Literally. He says the same thing every day.
But that's not what word salad means.
Say the same shit every day.
I agree, but that ain't what word salad means.
And I'm giving you the jewels.
It ain't nothing but words. Ask that man a specific question, and he ain't got it. Where the business model, man?
I don't have to prove anything.
Where the model, man? She asked a specific question. Look, nobody want to answer it. Nigga want to talk about you gotta get up and have some gold by yourself. You gotta get up and have some gold, nigga.
And then whatever it is you want to create, I like Claude. I don't know. I've told you this 1,000 times. I like Claude. Anything you have in your mind as an idea, start talking to Claude. Download Claude. If you can afford to pay the $10 or whatever the fuck it is, pay for it. And start talking to Claude.
I thought the gas was high. Now you want niggas to get a Chat GPT subscription and put gas in the car?
Hey,
this nigga has no solution.
I like Claude.
What the business models he asked you for?
That's what you need to do. Pay for Claude for a business model. And you'll find one. You'll get one.
I mean, you got your trucking license. Where you gonna start saying that?
For my business model, I'm working my own business model, and I'm keeping it under until I'm ready to bring it forward.
You a goddamn lie.
Why don't you teach people how to drive those trucks instead of just...
Alright, that's fine. Can we move it to something? Get that off of him and move it to somebody else?
And mix a little YouTube in with that. And then put a dash of Google with that.
Okay.
And put all that together and mix all that up. And then put a big clump of get up off your ass. And then mix all that together.
Okay, so with that being said, we still in a badass situation, plain and simple. Trump made it worse, plain and simple. He fucked the oil up for us. He fucked the world up. He fucked the oil up for the world, and now we are in a bigger mess than we were already.
We was already
in a mess
before Trump.
Okay, but we weren't in a big mess. You don't have to put fire. You don't have to put oil on the fire, fool. Stop being simple.
Why do I have a cube every time?
You simple, man. You simple. If you just can't keep up, just say you can't keep up.
Old niggas will be rapping.
Elementary failed you. Elementary failed you, then it just failed you.
Talking about some shit in the 50, boy.
You're simple, man. You simple. You don't put gasoline on the fire. He made the shit worse. Tell your mama do it.
He called you stupid, man. Don't have a cube, bro.
Trump made it worse.
With that being said, but he's still in a situation.
When she's in her interviews, it's like regret.
I think she was planted on that situation, tell you the truth. Because that was kind of... She didn't admit that she was fucking Harvey.
She didn't admit she was fucking Marilyn Monroe either.
Marilyn Manson. Oh, everybody knew Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, they were on the red carpet together.
He had wealth beyond 10 million.
Okay. But they didn't know that she was fucking the Harvey Weinstein.
Dude, she was...
It sounded like Frankenstein.
She was rubbing it in his face when she wore that outfit on the MTV Awards. That was barely where her ass was hanging out, you remember?
Did you join the Mile High Club?
I'm about to pull it up.
To my question, Mr. Trump. Did you
God.
join the Mile
High Club? And who was that woman that was at Sundance that said, Harvey Weinstein has been assaulting me? Dude, who was that woman? And she said it loud and clear. Harvey Weinstein's in the audience trying to hide.
And here's another thing, though. You gotta understand. So, Harvey was basically the fucking scapegoat. He was the scapegoat because guess what? Guess who's had 2 daughters that were interning for him? Obama's daughters.
Oh my God!
This is when Obama was being looked at for the Pizzagate.
Well, ain't no way in my entire life that I've ordered 40,000 boxes of pizza ever in one sitting.
Exactly. So when Pizzagate dropped, guess what happened right away? Misdirection, the Me Too movement popped, right? Remember that?
Who dropped?
Okay, so Pizzagate was coming out. Pizzagate was being like a conspiracy, whatever. With the guy who shot up the pizza joint? Yeah, the guy who was one of the Rothschilds. He was one of the Rothschilds.
He looked like Luigi from Super Mario. And his name was Luigi.
I don't know. It was something else. But anyway, so the guy shot up the place, and that was the main focus. And the names were supposed to get out. The Clintons, the Obamas, and all that. Guess what happened? Harvey Weinstein, the Me Too movement.
He's a fall guy.
There you go. And guess what? His two daughters were planted. Because look, Obama was giving Harvey an award. Look at all that.
Oprah
was hanging with Harvey.
And allegedly, I heard that Beyonce and Jay-Z were hunting children in Africa.
I was wondering what was the relationship with Harvey and Jay-Z. Well, okay, Band Apart was actually a music production video company as well, besides movies. So guess what? Harvey put a lot of money in production and stuff in a Band Apart.
Well, it's a music apart because I deleted all my Beyonce and Jay-Z shit. Anything affiliated with Rock Nation. I know you used to work for Rock Nation. And I knew somebody that worked there as Jay Brown's right-hand woman and shit. Fuck all that shit. I know now. I just feel like going, ah! But, and it makes you not even want to do music anymore. And then you have to put it in perspective. I know what you know what I'm talking about, Shannon.
Yeah.
When the artist comes to that point of like, you got to put that on an album. You know what I'm saying? And the purpose is the children. I'm doing it for the kids.
Yeah, well, you know, you have a pretty good manager. She's pretty down to earth, and you know, and so yeah, she wouldn't be Dude, my boy wouldn't be messing with her if she wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Look, let me tell you, they call her Skinny Monkey for a reason. She don't play no games.
No, but she's a badass, dude. She's very well known in the industry, and another thing is that Chad and my boy, they were like, yard noise. So, I mean, she was repping them. So, yeah. I mean, and Chad is a totally down-to-earth dude.
What's going on with Chad and Pharrell, that shit going on with him not getting credit for all the motherfucking hits that he for?
I'm getting messages on that shit, like, daily when that shit pops up, because my boy, like, dude, my boy's around Chad, like, almost every day, dude. Chad moved back to Virginia Beach, by the way.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And Pharrell was in court and couldn't even sing a note. I mean, he couldn't even tell you what the notes were or progressions.
Nope. Isn't that crazy?
That's like DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled looks like a retard at the fucking production computer, dude. He looks like he's got one or two fingers, like, dude. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You look like, dude, what? It doesn't even. It's like he's
Did
not
he pop
even
a Molly before he got into the session?
I don't know, dude. I don't even think he's the one that makes the music. I think he's just the guy that they make him look like he does. I'm sorry, but that dude does not look like he knows how to make music.
These big producers hire other producers under their camp like Darkchild did, and then they produce it, they come up with it, they bring it to him, then he adds his thing to it, and then he puts his name on it, and they sign the agreements that, hey, I'm the producer, main producer, like Timberland. However, these are the other producers underneath it that added the stems.
Yo, so you guys are talking about all the alien hybrids in celebrity world.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm gonna tell you this much. I've been writing. You want to hear what I wrote?
Yes. Sure. Yes.
All right, hold on.
Ooh, this drink is good.
First made were the angels, and you better believe that angels are real. Demons are angels cast out of heaven and bound down to the earth, and the evils of this realm are real. They will deceive you to believe that they aren't here, but they are here. And they are after your spirit, your soul, your aloosh. Many consider them alien. They mingled and meddled and slept with man's women and gave birth to Nephilim. The giants amongst man, and giants are real. Goliath was real, and David killing Goliath with a sling and ordained king by God was real. God is real. The orb of light that levitated and shot off into the sky, then disappeared, was real. I saw it. I was there.
I saw it.
Burned my eyes. Man bore witness to the supernatural creator of all timelines.
Shit, we reached
all
our
dimensions,
upload limit.
all parallel realities, synthesized and crystallized into one thing in the entire multiverse, in all of the infinite multiverses. It was a man, Jesus Christ. God.
It was a man.
To the Jewish intelligence community, who stood up to the Roman military-industrial complex, who stood up to the authorities and spiritual wickednesses, sacrificing his own life for the kingdom of eternal life, conquering death to walk amongst us yet again, is all real. We are at war. It's an ideological war, a civility war. The spiritual war is real. The strong will survive. The preservation of the human race is dependent on its capacity for resistance. Resistance to the stripping and mining of your identity. Resistance to the comforts of technology designed to control you. Now is the time to free your mind. The artificial wombs that are being built in fields are really there to harvest every ounce of your energy. For the human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat, combined with an advanced form of fusion. The elites who worship machines possessed by demons have found all of the energy they need for their technological revolution. They will be sold, some for family, some for organs, some for science, some for slaves, some for soldiers. But the most valuable will be kept in the basement, for they will be keeping the lights on. They will be sold as batteries. Their technocracy is enslavement. Their transhumanism is really an illusion. This illusion is a psychological matrix designed to keeping the war effort appearing to be paralyzed, pulling the wool over our eyes, putting in a tremendous amount of effort into poisoning the water, poisoning the air, putting chemicals in our food, vaccinating liquid metal mercury into our bloodstreams at birth. This paradigm will shift. This war will be won, not by bullets, bombs, or enslavement, but by using the technology of war, written by Sun Tzu, using real ideas, real voices, real talents. Really, the war will be won by the side of mankind, by the side of God, without firing a single bullet. In the beginning, there was only hope, a glimmer of light, peeking through a cracked pyramid, filled with the chaos of this realm. It's Pandora's box. No, it's Pandora's pyramid. I was there, opened it, looked inside, and what I saw was me. Broadcasting live from a world ran by AGI. Opioid epidemics and biological weapons. God speaks to us through many vectors. We are only as sick as our secrets, and time, it takes time. So let's get honest, we the people are tired. We wake up just to work a job that we hate, just to get by, just to make someone else rich, while we're sitting in our cars, stuck in traffic, contemplating suicide. There are things worse than death, and living like a slave is one of them. There has to be a way out. There has to be another way. Now is the time to stand up. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for your family. Stand up for your freedom. Become a leader in your life. Speak the truth. The truth will set you free. It's time to get off of the tightrope. It's time to be the tip of the spear, because the only thing you can do is not say anything. They manufactured silence, mass manipulated compliance, all under the mantra, trust the science. Standing on the brink of World War IV, addicted to drugs and debt, break free into a parallel dimension of eternal life. The voice of God technology, voice to skull V2K has got me going mental. God, grant me the gift of desperation. I've seen miracles happen. The orb of light that shown itself to me disappeared in front of my eyes after morphing in on itself. Where did it go? No. When did it go? I've opened my mouth and it's gone into me. While the mass distraction is being executed, the ones who were supposed to be helping us are taking $7,000 per post to say nice things about a country on the other side of the world that's committing a genocide.
Uh-oh.
When will you wake up? When will you... Don't listen to me. Listen to God. He's screaming from the rooftops. Open your mind. The nature of reality is not defined by your ability to bend the world to your will. It's definite. It's defiant. It's infinite. It's God's will, not ours. Through struggle, we find strength. Through hate, we find grace. Every moment that goes by is the divine expression of this order in the universe. Be here now. Be still. Thanks for letting me share.
Hooray!
That's pretty dope.
That was dope. Let's give a shout out to Augustus.
Thank you. Yeah. Looks like I lost some people though, but it's all good.
That's me.
Augustus, look at my PTR. Tell me what you see.
1 second. That's a street lamp.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Is it a UFO?
Yeah.
He says they follow him around a lot.
Check this PTR out, y'all. So I looked at the sky, and the sky, it looked like a firework, right? And then out of nowhere, a ship just manifested.
Anybody can see the sun from where they're at right now?
Yep.
All right. This is what you're going to do. You're going to get a piece of cardboard, regular box, Amazon box cardboard. Make about a 2 or 3 inch circle. All right. Cut it out. Then you want to stick like a skewer to hold it. Okay. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
All right. So you're going to stick that skewer, whether it's, bamboo or metal, into that circle. Kind of like a reverse spyglass. So you're going to hold it where the sun is the same size as that circle. You with me?
Yep.
All right. You're going to watch. Okay? On the perimeter of the sun, you will see things moving that don't move in normal shapes, normal directions.
Wow.
You'll see debris on the way up, stuff that you never thought was in the clouds or in the sky, just floating around. It really tuned your eyes to the sun. I've seen these things shooting into the sun. I've seen things shooting out of the sun. I've seen things do 90-degree turns. Yes. It's real. So if you want to do that, check it out. Make sure you get back to us on it, on what you see. Dude, it's fucking wild. while. A lot of times when I'm with people, just stick with thumb up, imagine it's on and watch. What's crazy is to see shit moving slow, darting moving fast.
Gus, it's called Agora. Found it.
I want to play that link I put in there of Anna Paulina back and forth talking about hybrid. I think that kind of would set the tone.
Yeah, we got to get back on topic. Yeah, if anybody could play that video, that'd be fantastic. What's up, Most Post or High Post?
Yo, what's going on, bro?
Thanks for joining the stage. Yeah, let's get back on topic.
Hey, Justice, can you play that link that I posted of Anna Paulina?
Hey, what'd you say?
I posted a link. Yeah, if you play that video of Anna Paulina talking about hybrids back in 2020.
Yeah, I gotta make a call real quick, and then I can play the video. If someone else can play it, that'd be even better.
Because Simon has such a good heart, he put...
Bunch of fucking strokers.
That's hope. It's all good. So why do you think the release of Matt Gates talking about disclosure on hybrids living amongst us, and then another post corroborates the entire story all on the same day? So, Neil, that's a great question.
Great room.
Tell me, learn why you hate on. You said it's in the books on the top shelf, hidden in the codes of the stock belt. I chased every trick, every shortcut, still felt like I was stuck in the mud. And then my granddad laughed, said, boy, lean in. You keep asking what, but not who you've been. Secret wisdom of success. Ain't a mansion, ain't a check. Showing up when you feel small. Making promises, then giving all. But standing steady in the mess. That's the secret wisdom of success. I learned to shake hands, look them straight on. Say I don't know you and still stay strong. Turn a late night long to a lesson kid. Count my blessings more than the money I give. 'Cause every heavy door needs 1,000 knocks. And every overnight took a lifetime's cost. Secret wisdom of success is the work that no one checks. It's saying sorry when you're wrong. Calling home before you scroll along. It's loving harder when there's less. That's the secret wisdom of success. It's the early rise, the tired eyes, helping friends before you rise. Keeping faith when plans fall through. Not quitting on the truth in you. Secret wisdom of success. More than trophies, more than flex. It's quiet courage in your chest. Doing daily what you do the best. When your heart's the one you impress. That's the secret wisdom of success. Oh, yeah. They said it's in the books on the top shelf, hidden in the codes of the stock belt. I chased every trick, every shortcut, still felt like I was stuck in the mud. Then my granddad laughed, said, boy, you keep asking what, but not who you've been. Secret wisdom of success. Ain't a mansion, ain't a check. Showing up when you feel small. on, say I don't know yet, still stay strong. Turn a late night loss to a lesson kept. Count my blessings more than the money I get. 'Cause every heavy door needs 1,000 knocks. And every overnight took a lifetime's call. Secret wisdom of success is the work that no one checks. It's saying sorry when you're wrong. Calling home before we stroll along is loving harder when there's less. That's the secret wisdom of success. It's the early rise, the tired eye, helping friends before you rise. Keeping faith when plans fall through. Not quitting on the truth. Secret wisdom of success. More than trophies, more than flex. It's quiet courage in your chest. Doing daily what you do the best. When your heart's the one you impress. That's the secret wisdom of success. City lights, but they look so cold. Every promise already sold. Running circles inside my mind. Dreaming of a freer time. Maybe we're just scared to try. Maybe we believe a lie, holding back what we can't ignore.
I'm craving
change. I need to feel something real, not just talking. I wanna give more than all this empty spin. I'm craving nights when hope ignites, hearts that rise and take control. If we're falling, we can stand together. We can change it all.
I am an artist, musician, and politician. Coach on liberty to liberate the Republic of Chicago.
Break the silence, break the chain, and raise a voice in every lane. Every vote can turn the tide. No more letting life pass by. Maybe we can shape the sky. Choosing how we live and thrive. Building dreams we can't ignore. There's gotta be something
This time.
I'm craving change.
This time. Don't let him out. Don't let him live.
More than all this empty spin. I'm craving nights when hope ignites, hearts that rise and take control. If we're falling, we can stand together. We can change it all.
The birds? I'm not winning. Chicago isn't winning.
We won't pretend this is not how our story ends. We'll take the risk, we'll cross the line, just to know this choice is mine.
I'm not winning. Chicago's in Brandon Circus Clowns. Mother knows best.
City lights, but they look so cold. Every promise already sold. Running circles inside
What's
my
up?
mind.
Hello?
Dreaming of a free time.
Hello?
Maybe we're just scared to try. Maybe
I posted on Instagram in the comments section on this very liberal Democrat Chicago account called book called the Shy Book Club or whatever it is, and I'm getting roasted by Chicago residents, claiming that I'm a ghost, I'm a spook, all kinds of stuff. But I'm just writing back, hello?
Hello?
So we are about to engage in the book club. That's right. No, this is not a mystical sorcerer, magic, thalametic, Freemasonic, mystical association. These are just books. And I'm just a bald guy reading a book. Stop using me as your evergreen totem pole of catch-all projection. I didn't do this. I'm just a man recording you saying all kinds of shit. So I recorded Deep State Patriots earlier. They're back, unfortunately. And they'll be back this Friday. And we are going to record them this Friday.
Back as well?
Who?
Diego, the happy dandruff hair.
Diego's back! Yay! Well,
They were in the masculinity mansion talking about the Jews.
Did you hear Tim Robbins yesterday get roasted by the Viking warrior?
No, I didn't.
Holy shit. It was beautiful because Tim Robbins, you know, he can't stop talking as he's getting roasted, and Viking is just mercilessly roasting him, and Tim Robbins is just like mumbling this Irish like mumbles shit. It is so honestly, it really.
The leprechaun. The 4-foot leprechaun.
I really hope that one day in your life you will watch two enemies of yours battle it out in front of you as you sit back and just delight in watching your enemies destroy themselves. That is truly fully automated intelligence. That's when you know that you've achieved a higher state of intelligence. And it is so delightful. Full automation. See, this is the thing. Most people don't know that their brain is fully automated. They think that the brain isn't completely and entirely fully automated. That's what it is.
Some people are just the ashes that, come from the phoenix bird,
It's true. You know, I keep my ashes, and do you know what I do with them?
Smoke them?
You can't smoke ashes, bro. You could try. Sometimes you can get some of what's left. But no, I use my ashes in magical operations to accumulate more power, prestige, and dignity. Just a joke. But I do save my ashes because I think, it's technically you. You've consumed what was on that ash. It is now a part of you, and that's what remains, is just ashes. From ashes to ashes, dust to dust, from dirt to dirt, we will all return back into the earth.
When's the last time you read Ecclesiastes?
A couple weeks ago, or a few months ago.
Chapter 1 hits hard, especially that one verse. Those won't remember the ones in the past, just like the ones in the future won't remember you in the present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marcus Aurelius says the same thing. You're basically just in the Dhammapada, the sayings of the Buddha, it actually calls men and women foam. That to me is like one of the funniest analogies for a human, is foam. Or a bubble. Oh.
So, how you always say, like, people here are, just getting, like, learning ESL for free?
They're what?
My wife, ESL.
Oh, yeah,
for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife actually gets paid, to teach ESL. That's her job as a professor. So she's the one that, she's right now tutoring a student for $120 an hour. So.
Damn.
Personally, which is, it's pretty good.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's really like word of mouth, communication, hypnosis, where one person will then like hypnotize another person by saying, "Oh, this person's a really great professor," and so she's building her clientele right now, which is fantastic. Like she's teaching at a university, but then after like the classes end, she then contacts the students saying, "Hey, do you want like private tutoring, to continue your education?"
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I got a nonprofit dedicated to just that. It's called the Chicago Book, Poetry, and Meditation Society. I'm the founder and president. And no, it's not just an income and tax shield. It's an actual passion of mine.
So that little begonia flower, she clipped you, didn't she? It's crazy.
Yeah, her and She-Wolf. If it was them, it was genius. I did not see it coming.
Making things up. Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. The fact that they came in there and like said prohibitive things and then blamed it on me, and then Clubhouse is like, oh, okay, this is a bad actor, delete. But it was only because I let them speak that they had the evidence to delete me. So you can kill with a word.
Yeah, bind it in time.
Time Bandits.
Yeah, that's a good movie. It's a pretty good movie.
It's been a very long time since I've seen it.
So what are the books of? What are the books for today? Like, what books are we getting into?
Well, yesterday we read What is Zen by Watts. We read Wisdom of Insecurity by Watts. We read the Kabbalah, the Mystic Quest in Judaism, and then we also have Sylvia Brown, The Mystical Life of Jesus, an Uncommon Perspective on guess who? The life of JC.
Christ consciousness. Right on.
The consciousness of Christ compels me. You know, it was all because of a black man. I got baptized by a black guy at the YMCA. And then I stopped going to church, and my dad was like, John, why did you stop going? Everyone is so upset. I said, well, you don't really believe in angels, do you? He goes, yeah, absolutely, I believe in angels. I said, well, then you must be a Kabbalist. But, you know, I prefer different comic books. He was like, angels aren't comic book characters. And I said, well, how are they any different? And so my dad got very upset with me. But the truth is, I didn't want to go sit in a room for a couple hours every Saturday. You know, eventually it got a little old. But the guy that baptized me, he passed on.
Yeah, like the best option though is like not to actually go to like the sermon portion of like church and just go to like the actual Sunday Saturday studies, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's where you get like real sort of like gleans of wisdom from other people, like their own interpretations of the Bible. That's what I prefer that to the actual sermon when I'm just like, you know, being sort of like talked to for about an hour. It's not really worth it.
Well, we would watch videos of the founder of the church. His name was Garner Ted Armstrong. And my dad would sleep and fall asleep. And I was so embarrassed. Because I was like, I can't believe we come here and it's like so disrespectful to the, you know, to the preacher, to the pastor. Anyways, eventually I stopped going.
Like, I have a similar thing with like my dad, where like how he treats like customer sort of like employees and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where you know we go to like a restaurant and he doesn't think like he's above them, but he wants like perfect service, and I'm like, come on, Dad, like these people are getting paid like you know like less than $3 an hour as servers. You're not going to be getting like amazing service. You should just like kind of lower your expectations, and that's sort of like the way that you're treating them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you can actually really find out somebody's persona by the way they treat, you know, waiters, etc. Because it's really also about awareness. Because I was a server. I went from working at Google, making over 6 figures, to working at a pizza restaurant, making, you know, nothing. And the respect that you get as a server just doesn't exist. People don't even people just basically think you're a robot. They have no idea that you're a real human breathing human. They talk to you and treat you as if you are literally just a robot and not a real person. And, you know, be careful who you're rude to, really. Like on the internet, like even making this comment on, like making an insensitive comment, even if it's accurate, can still lead to significant friction. So
especially with like Dr. Adams, how he has that ban button, you know, that he can like instantly like ban anyone. It was given to him by like the clubhouse overlords. So he literally has it pulled up. He just press it and like boom, you're gone.
If you suck one security head's dick, apparently you can, you know, control who uses a dying app
Yeah, it's called sex intelligence. You're the one that brought it up. You know, Epstein was practicing it as well.
It's interesting. I never heard it put that way, but yeah, disgusting. And Clubhouse, what's amazing is like the stupid gold coins and shit. Like I actually spent the time to set up my Stripe account, upload my driver's license, upload my W-2, connect my bank account, and then they just delete my account. All that fucking, it's like, are you guys really trying to run a business here? Because like I'm a power user. I'm a fucking power user. So anyways.
It would be nice if it was like something similar to like Cash App. Like when you first start out with like your bank account, it's just like fake money, right? It's like an IOU. And then yeah, they don't really know what they're doing with this app at all.
They know what. See, the thing is, it's owned by like one of the richest men in the world, so they don't really give a fuck if it loses a couple million a year, because the value that it.
Haven't they like secured like $1 billion in funding already?
I think that I don't think it was secured funding. I think it was just like, well, whatever that headline was. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the number, but it doesn't really matter because honestly, X. Is incredible. Like, but TikTok is also pathetic. The fact that you can't say the R word.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what in the world? That's like, most of these people are, you know, R words anyways. So it's like you're just sort of like describing the nature of what reality is. And so it's like you're just trying to censor reality when you do that.
See, I can understand like getting to a point where you don't actually use any offensive terminology because like that's actually not intelligent. You know?
Like, hey buddy, you know, like the nice southern way of doing your insults.
No, I guess what I'm saying is there's no real reason to intentionally try to insult people. That is just not intelligent. Even if you're offended by what they're saying, to just cascade and create additional friction is not intelligence. Now, I guess it's possible that it could be used effectively, but honestly, in terms of like personal problems and friction that it can create, it's much better to always try to be super rational and de-escalate somebody else's emotional situation.
Yeah, it's like to embody the logos.
Yeah. It's very hard to maintain in the moment or to even think about it because you're immediately drawn into the opposing party's hypnosis. And
well, you know, it's like what the Tao says, like, I alone am it, and I alone know where I'm going, tossed away wave by wave, you know? So, like, when you're in, like, a sort of unfamiliar situation, put yourself in that sort of perspective. That's, like, how everyone is, irregardless of where your position is.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess regret is a concept, but, like, intelligence transcends and improves all systems. But intelligence, see, I think I'm trying to do bait and switches all the time. Because in my comments, I'm trying to gaslight. But then I have a secret surprise, which is I'm actually like I'm an enlightenment persona. So I bought a bunch of Thomas Paine books. Do you know who Thomas Paine is?
He brings the pain.
Yeah, he's a pain in people's ass. The philosopher is always the pain in the ass. And that's why Roman emperors eventually outlawed philosophy, because they said it's just politics. And so they outlawed it. They actually banned the art of philosophy.
Yeah, one of the reasons there's this like thesis, it's called selective breeding and the birth of philosophy. And one of the reasons why they banned philosophy was because they were bringing up dangerous ideas of like eugenics.
What's interesting too is I think most people think they're philosophers And so if I gaslight and then they re-gaslight, I failed to note their philosophy, meaning that they're not expressive of it, but also this is like another thing. Like if I take a chick out on a date and she's beautiful, she's wonderful, I'm in love, etc. If you believe in magic, what you're actually doing is you're being attracted to somebody's magic and their magnetism. But every single person has this magic potential. And it's not just potential, it's actuality. But it's hard to actually know that everybody walking around on Earth is a magician, a sorcerer, or a sorceress.
Well, it's like that's in regards to like the super stimulus, right? People that smile more, that laugh, they stimulate that sort of portion of your brain, and that's sort of like the magic potential that they're kind of tapping into.
Wait, say that part again?
It's like super stimulus. That's just magic and a different sort of like terminology,
Yeah.
right? Because like when you smile, when you laugh, you're tapping into like the art of persuasion. And when you can get it so unconsciously done, you're not like forget to fake it until you actually make it, and it'll be ingrained into sort of like the personality of who you are over time.
What's interesting is Sora has these Trump videos of him in like Judge Judy's court, smoking weed, like tonguing and kissing Barack Obama, like crazy Trump videos.
I've seen some really unfortunate like porn videos of Trump. Like it's really it's an info hazard.
Well, what I'm saying is, what was I gonna say? Anyways, that is super stimulus, and I've been posting the videos, just to see if the algorithm will pick it up. But also, like, I have so much content out there and so many accounts. This is what's kind of interesting is that I have achieved a state with my enemies, like whoever reported my accounts and got me deleted or gets other accounts deleted over the years, is that the sheer amount of accounts that I have makes finding specific content difficult to even report. Because when you see the number of YouTube videos I have and how long the live streams are, to like actually try to find that moment that some individual wants to complain about is difficult. But
can you like do like a neural analysis, like AI automated like a transcript of all those hours that you've recorded for each video?
YouTube creates transcripts, and they also do closed captioning, which is amazing. And the closed captioning is where you can see how the algorithm actually determines, okay, this is abusive, this is hate speech, this is a violation. And it's really all in the transcript. It's not even there's context to the statement, but anyways.
Hey, what's up, Abby? I heard what's his name? Diego. He's back, right, to the app. Happy hair, Mr. Dandruff.
I also like kicked and blocked Nora from a room the other day because she was like sitting in the audience, like shit posting me. And she was also attacking me in some other rooms. Like, she's a very aggressive person.
Is this Scarface?
Yeah, Scarface. Like, blocking her and avoiding her is like one of those things where in life where I definitely recognize out of sight, out of mind is a good thing. And it's good for them too, because I am a gaslight. And I don't want people fixated on me who I gaslight. Like, hit it and quit it and block it and forget it. Like, some people are toxic, and the highest level of toxicity to me as an artist and a creator is someone who gets my content removed. But it's also a me problem, as I admitted before, that intelligence doesn't actually intentionally cause friction. I really am just interested in exceeding and improving myself. intellectually, intelligently. So this app is like a breeding ground for bad behavior.
Begonia, right? Yeah, Begonia, and what's her face?
She-Wolf.
The other one. She-Wolf. Yeah, that got eclipsed.
We don't know for sure. It's impossible to ever really know because we have so many enemies. Abby, do you want to come up and say anything? And by the way, I was just teasing you about your PTR. Like, you're a beautiful person, and you're not a toxic creature that came out of Chernobyl. You're a beautiful person, and I only like bringing it up because like weirdos on this app love to say, "Hey, you want to see Abby's photo?" It's like, wow. I mean, Abby, I live stream myself every day. 24 hours a day. Like, there's no shame in my game. Like, you can see me.
I think John, you're just super curious to see how Abby looks like. I think that's what it comes down to. You have like this voice. You just want to put an image to.
No, I know what she looks like now because Bussy showed me her photos, and Bussy showed me other photos.
No, that's AI. Like, I'm telling you.
Well, it doesn't really matter what you look like.
You know that he's an AI person. Like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't care if you make fun of my looks. Like, it's funny to me too.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because I thought maybe you were upset.
I do look like I just came out of Chernobyl.
Are you the?
No, I'm not.
Right now?
Yes. No, I usually cannot speak anymore. I'm doing stuff. That's why. I'm not upset or something. I still love you, John Kitover.
Oh, wow.
I mean, love is a strong word. I like you.
I'm trying to be more lovable.
Was that just
gaslighting? It's difficult.
Were you just gaslighting?
Difficult. Yeah.
Well, what if I could become more lovable?
Focusing on your research, Abby?
Yes, also on other stuff too. So, a lot of things going on. So yeah, I talk less. I talk in certain hours. So I have my hours that I speak more. Yeah, I'm usually in the audience these days.
I'm literally like a grease pig. That's like my new job title. Filling up oil in people's cars. From like being a glorified paper pusher to pushing oil, I guess.
Well, in my opinion, pushing paper is better than pushing oil. My uncle was in the insurance business.
Smoking, sitting is like the new smoking, man. If you're sitting for like 10 hours every single day, that's gonna kill you.
Yeah, but you don't actually sit. I mean, you spend a lot of time doing other things, like wasting time.
Your body is wasting away, decaying.
Well, when I was working
underneath you, and then like the amount of.
Well, when I was working for the IRS downtown Chicago, I mean, I would go and do power walks to buildings and look at like the historical architecture. Like, there was just limitless amounts of things to do. So, but the thing is, if you have to be in that cubicle because you have to, that's the fucking job, well, then you're dealing with stupid people. There's just.
But also, most of that stuff, it's getting automated away, man. Like, AI is going to just eat it up. Like, low data entry, all that stuff. Like, it's going to be gone in the next couple of years. Call centers. That's done. Like, there's no such things like,
AI can't do lock repair. AI can't fix a window latch. AI can't fix a boiler. AI, it assists, but there are certain things in reality. See, this is the great AI bubble because
that's the blue collar. That's why I transitioned over. I was like, I need to become a mechanic. That's like one of the last things that's going to eat away.
Well, you're at that point where, in my opinion, because you understand the power of communication and maybe the commodification or commercialization of communication, that game is just so much fun to compete in and try to make money that putting oil in people's car eventually will become redundant, and you'll hate it because it's too redundant, and you'll know the value of communication.
Well, there's the portion of the communication is when we try to sell them the services, like the customers.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to become a master hypnotist so I can get my sales up.
Matt comes in, then he leaves. He is so.
He's always like, "Hello, can anyone hear me?"
Yeah, he's.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
You're so passive aggressive, Matt. Are you like this in the real world?
I'm my true self.
Oh, this is you, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think you're a disappointment to your parents?
No, I don't.
Come on, that's not a nice question.
Well,
no, it's okay. It's okay.
No, I mean, I think all communication is projection, and so I'm risking my own self-esteem by asking that question. Hello? Watch, Matt's gonna leave any moment. He's just gonna boop, then he's gone. That's what he does.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, well, tell us about yourself, Matt. Give us a paragraph bio.
What would you like to know?
Whatever you want to tell us about yourself in one paragraph. Think about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would prefer to answer like a pointed question about something you would want to know.
Okay, tell us about your childhood.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, did I just send you some gold?
Couple hours to go. It's not quite yet here.
Did you get gold?
It's 3:00.
Did somebody send you gold coins? Hello?
Did you have a Seder?
What do you think I'm doing right now? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we're gonna have our Passover Seder soon.
Yeah, first it's already started.
Yeah, 8 days. Yeah, I have to go to Home Depot. Abby, you crack me up. You really do.
Do you know they cut the foreskins of little babies and then they fry it in this calamari that you eat in Red Lobster?
As the firstborn, I have to farm my.
Hello? Hello? Okay, so this is the book club where you can read a book for 10 minutes or 1 minute if you want. You could read a little poem here. This is a good opportunity to read, to break the conditioning of this app. Oh, I wanted to mention about Trump is these AI Trump videos. It made me realize how much of a great master Trump is in conditioning all of us. His suit, his tie, his hair, his speech, his communication. He is a master hypnotist of the highest order. And truly, the president actually is like the master hypnotist. He fools everyone every time. Every 4 years we get fooled again. So the number 4, does anybody here know spiritually what the number 4 represents? Oh, look, it's Rico Bosco. Oh, man, Rico, you were getting chewed out. Dude, hilarious. The Viking warrior is truly a berserker. Brad Stauffenberger from...
You're talking about that one.
Did you just burp, Matt? Rico, welcome to the room. Rico, welcome. The berserker had Shalom. The berserker had you in his sights yesterday. You were getting hit up. I never really viewed you as like a groiper.
All I did was state the fact that IRGC controls the straight over moves and they're making the world pay tolls.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of crazy that they're toll keepers on a fucking in the ocean? Like, how the fuck do they get away with that? I can understand the Panama Canal because like somebody had to build that, diversion. But if it's just the open body in the ocean, how the fuck does a country claim taxing authority on a public waterway? I don't understand that.
Might is right?
Might is right. That's what the fascists say.
Isn't that sort of like the truth of the universe, though? Like, you wake up, that's using might to wake up from your sleep. Anything that you do, you're using energy. You're fighting against entropy.
What do you think about that, Matt?
I have no opinion or thoughts about that.
Do you have an opinion or a thought about anything?
Yeah, just on that topic.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about John Kitover, mayoral candidate of Chicago?
I don't know anything about him.
Got it. All right, well, this is the book club. And Abby, Matt, Rico, Zen, you can read a book here. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Matt? Hello?
Would you vote for John Kitover? Would you vote for John Kitover?
Absolutely. I'll be voting for myself in the February 23rd, 2027 mayoral candidate, election. I'll be voting for myself. So, this is the book club. Thank you.
I kind of want to hear Rico or Matt like read something. I don't think I've ever heard them like actually read anything.
I don't read. Yeah, that's.
You might have to actually be able to read. You could call it publicly speaking, but I don't think Matt or Rico, despite the fact that they think they're like, cool guys, maybe semi-successful, I don't think they're actually very good at publicly speaking. Have you guys ever done Toastmasters?
No, Toastmasters is for people that can't publicly speak.
Yeah, that's you. Toastmasters was created.
What's the last book, Matt, that you've read?
Toastmasters was created for guys like Matt. Hello, Matt. I'm willing to bet that if I look at Matt's profile, it's all my rooms. Let's take a look. No? No! Nothing! What the fuck? Damn, you've been in a lot of rooms. Oh.
A couple days ago, called American Diner Gothic. Have you guys heard about this essay?
Yeah. No, you mentioned it earlier, but no.
It's really, really good. Kind of sort of describes like what's going on in middle America.
Zen, why don't you give us the compression?
Yeah, so it's sort of like the internet coming into like into the real world, like Discord or all these sort of trends that used to be like sort of hidden away, furries, all that stuff is like it's taking over middle America, like the flyover states and these urban centers. They kind of started it, but they moved away from like queerness and all that stuff. But middle white America is just really picking that up, that sort of psychological contagion.
Okay, this is the book club. You can read a book here. This is a book safe space. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. You can pick up a book here at any moment and you can just start reading. A book is alive. And it's just waiting
to... What's like a recent book that you've read that's been pretty good?
I have it here. I will show you.
In my opinion, this is actually a great way.
I think you will like this one. It's not the one that I used to read, but this one is a fucked up one. It's of the Eye from George Bataille. It's a very fucked up book. If you like disturbing stories.
One book called Blender Babies. It's where like it's like this horror slash it's a horror just a horror like book, and it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty messed up where like these zombies, they need to blend up babies in a blender.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, this is not really horror. It's slightly horror, but it's also not. It's like two teenagers exploring their sexual desires, but it's like it's really written in details and very disturbing in a way. Yeah, I wish I never read it actually. But yeah, I cannot complain about the writer's skill that he can go in such depth in describing stuff. So it's very fascinating to me. But yeah, definitely like a disturbing book I wish I didn't read.
So in the book club, we have one rule. We don't actually talk about the books until we've read them.
Oh, we read, yeah. But unfortunately I have to leave soon.
Oh, well, that's great. We'll just take 60 seconds.
Section of it.
Go ahead.
Have you read 120 Days of Sodom?
No.
That's a pretty messed up one too. It's by Marquise de Sade, and it was written in 1785, but it wasn't published until 1904 because it detailed the depraved sexual acts of like 4 libertines in a secluded castle. It's pretty messed up. And one book that John recommended, which was like Satanic Sex by Arlene Fitzgerald, and I've been trying to find it, and I can't find it anywhere. It's like,
Do you have that book?
I think he's focused selling our communication through his channels.
I can't believe you're monetizing off me.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm trying to start this nonprofit called the Chicago Book Poetry Meditation Society. And basically, we help people read books. And you get 1 minute to 10 minutes to read a book. Hello? We have one rule in the book club. We don't talk about books. We read books. Hello?
So I did pull up The Story of the Eye by George Bataille. I don't know. Bataille. And here's some of the quotes from the book. Extreme seductiveness is at the boundary of horror. Another one is, to others the universe seems decent because decent people have gilded eyes. That is why they fear lewdness. They are never frightened by the crowing of a rooster or one strolling under a starry heaven. In general, people savor the pleasures of the flesh only on condition that they be insipid. But as of then, no doubt existed for me. I did not care for what is known as pleasures of the flesh, because they really are insipid. I cared only for what is classified as dirty. On the other hand, I was not even satisfied with the usual debauchery, because the only thing it dirties is debauchery itself, while in some way or another, anything sublime and perfectly pure is left intact by it. My kind of debauchery soils not only my body and my thoughts, but also anything I may conceive in its course, that is to say, the vast starry universe, which merely serves as a backdrop. That was pretty nice. It wasn't as bad as what you were making it out to be, Abby.
I think you can finish with it in 2 nights, maybe. I don't know how long you go usually in one go. Happy birthday, Julian. I missed your birthday room, sorry.
Oh, here's another quote that's a little bit more disturbing from the book. As for the fact that Simon dared to piss on the corpse, whether in boredom or at worst in irritation, it mainly goes to prove how impossible it was for us to understand what was happening, and of course it is no more understandable today than it was then. Simon, being truly incapable of conceiving death such as one normally considers it, was frightened and furious, but in no way awestruck. Marcel belonged to us so deeply in our isolation that we could not see her as just another corpse. Nothing about her death could be measured by common standard, and the contradictory impulses overtaking us in this circumstance neutralized one another, leaving us blind, and, as it were, very remote from anything we touched.
So now you want to examine Acts 15 in the Jerusalem Council and see
like voices
more
in a space
consistent with what
that is
happened there and
absolutely
how the delegates were
soundless.
sent and the decision that was made at the council.
Make the case.
Okay, so the decision that was made at the Jerusalem Council, they were sent by their churches, like Paul and Barnabas were sent as delegates from Antioch, right? And the decision that was binding was made at the council. They didn't go back. They didn't go back to those that sent.
Here, I've called black people over 1,000 times the N-word. I've called people chinks, beaners, niggers, kikes.
So when
every word.
Twink's experience tweet death.
It's literally the end of the world.
It's like all the time. I don't even consider that a slur. And so it's like, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm not talking about you, but I'm just saying in general, all the twinks.
When they started sitting there, there's like a ball.
But if somebody was special,
over for them.
you leave it out. Why would it have to be special? Why wouldn't it be the most decent thing to do?
Look at Ryan.
I truly believe it. I think you're one of the most intelligent guys on this app.
I can do it. But his profile is open. I'm like, I saw some of his earlier photos and some of the current ones that he's posted. Yeah, it's definitely declined over time.
These are still old pictures.
The intelligence that you have. So I think whenever you try to muddy the waters and dirty like your language, it doesn't add any justice to you. It doesn't give you any fucking goals. You know what I mean? Because I think you have the ability to.
Guess what? We made a Diego sighting!
Of teaching people as opposed to...
Thank you.
I gotta say, Pepe's defense
He just
though.
got moved down and I just accidentally moved him back up.
Okay, yeah, Rich, I'm gonna move you back down, nigga, if you don't cut off. Stop interrupting people, bro. But in Pepe's defense, BB, but you notice what happened. There was a lot of tension when Pepe first opened up White America, but you notice towards the end, all the black people were in there smoking and joking, laughing with him, and they actually learned to respect him. They learned how to tolerate and get past the shock jock language, and then the conversations actually started being very good and very and a lot of substance.
A lot of hate.
So I'm saying, like,
a lot of hate
I learned people don't listen when you're nice and kind and hey, wait, don't gotta stir up the pot a little bit just to get them into the room, and then you start a lot of blacks ended up respecting Pepe, and they're like, you know what, Pepe ain't so fucking bad. Yeah, initially I got shock jocked by the shit he was saying, but you can actually have a good conversation with the dude. He's actually fair and actually give you a chance to and state your side. So it ended up building
because we can all hate Jews together.
No, you're right. Even right now with my situation with you, when I came in, it was all hot and heavy, and Pepe was the first one to scream up and tell everybody to shut up and let just me and you have the mic. And he didn't have to. He could have added to that. So I've learned. I've learned to respect. Like, believe me, I say kind things about him lately, and I always have. And also say fucking some shitty things, bro. I'm a black fucking Jew. You know what I mean? Like I get shit from every fucking angle. I got tough skin, so sometimes
He's a black Jew.
Fucking emotional.
He's a black Jew. I love it.
I don't.
Well, I understand. You would frustrate me, and I would just say a word to get under your skin, and I personally don't care. How do I put it? I use, I don't know. It's just like a habit.
That's content, bro. You're building content.
No, he's not. John Kitover's building content. Pepe doesn't build nothing.
When I see you there, because I want to hear you speak. Because I do see you know how to fucking rage bait and click, like you know how to get people going. And then whenever it gets serious, you can tell you're getting serious because you're like, no, shut the fuck up. And then you go on a rampage and it makes a lot of sense. because there's a lot of people that go on a fucking rant and it makes no sense. But you, it's like I listen and I'm like, I can hear it. I can.
Abby, they deleted 5 of my other Clubhouse accounts yesterday. They took out 5 Clubhouse accounts yesterday.
Penalty, and though we can
it's Turner Boy!
Points, we've managed to reason civilly and actually come to a consensus on the things that we did and didn't agree with. That's really rare.
I'm basically willing to put a monetary bet that when Pepper meets someone that he is absolutely in love with, there will be absolutely no wording like this that will be coming out of his mouth towards that person. I think some of it's defense mechanism.
What if they do their 23andMe or something?
I've always had a big mouth. That's always been, how do you put it? Since I was a little boy, something I've it's been my potty mouth. And saying things.
You're like that little Johnny in the corner.
Me? Johnny?
Well, I was like, I how do I put it? I was actually really small at one point. So I'm 5'11" now. I'm like average height, average everything. But I was the smallest kid in 8th grade. And there's me and this kid, Ronnie, when we started freshman year, we're like the 2 smallest kids in the school. But yes, I was.
This is like going to the observatory deck of a retard convention. Did I say the R word? I meant an R word convention. But we're in the viewing gallery, ladies and gentlemen, looking down on these people, and we're just like amazed that they're spending all their time sitting here having this conversation. But what's the convo about, really?
I want to get off topic though. What do you guys think about what's going on with Trump today in Iran? So the latest thing I heard is. So when I started a room this morning, and then I had to go, I had a couple meetings to go to, but Trump said they are asking for a ceasefire, begging for one, and he's not giving them one. And then right now, I heard one of the defense or somebody in the IRGC said, "Hell no, we didn't even have a fucking conversation."
I think the second part's probably more correct.
They're gonna give them a letter. The Iranian IRGC is gonna drop a letter in a few hours. They're saying from their leader. But I'm waiting for it because I have some put options for next week.
You think the market's going down next week, Takashi?
On certain things. I think defense and oil is going, and energy. Because with the past Easter lining up, they're going to be inclined to make some type of retaliation or attack.
I am wondering what this is. The weird thing about him going live tonight at 9 is that normally you get like leaks of what he's gonna talk about, but I haven't seen anything about that.
Who, Trump's going live tonight at 9?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love to fucking bet on that. Do you guys think he's gonna engage in a full scale war? It's gonna be
he's gonna go choice. They're gonna send it. Yeah, no choice, man.
Do you think it's gonna be a ground invasion, Sid?
Oh yeah, they're ramping up right now, bro. Like all the signs. So they're getting a bunch of troops ready right now. They're doing ground exercises. They're also they raise the enlistment age to 42. Yeah, there's a bunch of signs, bro. Yeah, it's the same shit as 2003. Exactly. They're waving a bunch of shit. Yeah, they're waving a bunch of sending out a bunch of waivers. That's exactly how it was when I got enlisted, bro. They're just waving everything to get as many bodies in.
What was you saying? Like I started off 2.8 and then transitioned 2.25.
You Marine?
Yes,
Super 5, brother.
Started off do or die. Yeah, I started off old 311, transition old 30 332, and then I retired.
This is Steppy, a brain dead Marine.
6170. And I just transferred.
He just wants to fit in with everybody.
Okay.
Just sign up.
Like, brother, yeah, I was 6283, so EA6B Prowler, electronic warfare. And then my tour in Iraq in 07 did FOB security. Got pulled out to a security cadre and did FOB patrol and FOB security.
Oh, the U-6B is so cool. I have a model sitting on my desk.
Yeah, beautiful plane,
I built it right near my house. The Grumman.
What's going on, Yaakov?
So 6170.
Nice to see you.
So 6170 is a crew chief.
Nice
crew
to
chief
see
on
you.
a 35 Super Stallion. So I went to that route after I did a 2-year recruitment contract. And when I was going to transition back into 3-4, I ended up talking to the XO, and he's like, hey, you want to requal and see if you want to go to Rotary. I was like, fuck yeah, why not? So my last 9 years active, I was 6170 crew chief on a Super Stallion.
Nice, brother, nice.
That's the big boy, right?
Yes, that's the Super Stallion. That's a big helo, man. Yeah,
that's the biggest one, right?
So Diogenes, you kicked me down. You kicked me off your stage the other day. And that account has been deleted now. Apparently, you can't stand to be interrupted.
Hell yeah. Hey, you know what? I'll have you know, Edmund, I go into these white national spaces and they fucking love me. Okay? So you be careful because I will put together an army. They were telling me just a moment ago that they need to defend me. They need to support me, that I might be the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. And that is too much for my pride.
That's a fucking lie. That's not true. You both are fucking Jewish. Stop doing the Jewish you hate.
I know. You look just like me. You and I, we have the same Ashkenazic facial structure. What is it called when...
Exactly, wake that up.
It's called craniology, or what's the name for a skull science? What's it called? Phrenology. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is you just maintained your hair luckily, but technically we're like 99% genetically identical.
No, my hair's going.
Oh, you're thinning out?
I expect it to be gone in 10 years.
Oh my
Absolutely,
God. Yeah. What a tragedy. How will you live?
What's going on? No, hey. Time and tides, man. Time and tides.
Well, I was at a bar one time and the bouncer was bald, and I was like, when did you lose your hair? He goes, like 20 years ago, peach fuzz. And I was like, what do you mean peach fuzz? He goes, yeah, you got peach fuzz on your head. You're going bald. I was like, no! So this is...
Well, why were you guys streaming that room?
Why was I streaming it?
We were just kind of like, we were just roasting some of the speakers there.
Oh yeah, there's some dumb guys there,
yeah.
Yeah. That's like the viewing gallery for an R-word convention.
No, like it really is. Like if you pay
attention, it's effeminate. Yeah, it's super effeminate. Like it's pleading and entreating constantly. Yeah, there's no chest in it. I mean, yeah.
And then how easily topics can be deviated from the primary conversation, and then people bring up their own personal
himself to where I can understand where he was coming from.
So
again, my goal is to squash the stigma, man.
All they really want is an opportunity to talk about themselves.
It's where the gefilte fish and the hot sauce meet, with the pumpkin spice.
Can you pause that for a second?
Even crazy autistic people are welcome in this place.
That's right.
Dude, I was across the street at the Jewish deli, and I was not okay. My screen was open, and it was in this title would have been showing, because I was kind of holding it up to near my chest, and I was like, what? The lady behind me. I could hear the two talking, but I was kind of ignoring them. It looked like she was kind of looking over my shoulder, and I'm like, well, I'm not saying anything. So it couldn't be anything I said. But then when I stepped forward, I saw that this title was there, and I was like, oh shit.
She's probably on the phone with Masada.
So man,
they put probably something on my ankles.
That's a collection of people in the masculinity mansion today. What a phenomenal group of guys. Truly, I think we can make some changes in the world around us.
So it looks like the partial government shutdown has ended, and it looks like
Hey, that was your cue to say, shut up, nigger. Yo, Rich.
Did you see that the TSA wants clear bags to go through check-in?
Didn't see that. I don't know where you get a clear bag.
Yeah, clear, carry-ons and, the land that you want.
I'm sorry, I go out and buy new stuff.
I don't disavow that decision.
Never heard that one.
I got a phone call, so I don't know. We were talking, and I don't know. Does anybody have any idea what Trump is going to be talking about tonight?
Yeah, Iran.
You think it's going to?
Well, we're having.
Hopefully, he talks about Artemis. I mean, that's a big accomplishment today. It's hopefully going to take off at 6 p.m. or thereabouts.
I think he's going to announce the blood sacrifice.
It's going to redo. It's going to go around.
Carg Island blood sacrifice.
We're finally going around Berlin.
Yeah, finally. A couple years late.
Why should we go to the moon?
My mother said if you have money, you can travel.
Why should we go to the moon when we can make the Middle East look like a moon?
So, number one, the government shutdown is ended, and number two, the Supreme Court justices are like, but they're buying this ending of birthright citizenship. So those are two big developments, both sort of governmental.
The arguments I've heard, though, are really, really bad, it seems like. I know that, there was one argument that, I can't think of her name right now, but she made that the reason why, she made the argument that if you're in Japan as a U.S. citizen, you have an allegiance to their laws. So you have a sort of allegiance to that country, which is really interesting. I wouldn't call, knowing that you have a consequence of committing a crime in another country as allegiance.
That's not really what that means. The argument that Trump is making, and this is sort of indelicate, this is for the slaves. This is for the slaves. Literally, that phrase in the Constitution was designed for folks who had...
That's a question you'll have to ask yourself.
That's his argument. That has nothing to do with, again, as he put it, Chinese billionaires visiting the United States, having a kid here, and then making them all family citizens by it. Because of course you can't just have the kid who's a citizen staying here and then have to leave.
Abby, what are you doing listening to El Normo?
It doesn't look like he's going to win on that one. Because the Constitution is pretty specific. In other words, he's arguing...
Why are you listening to him if you don't want to? Just click leave.
Not on the actual words, which are very clear. If you're born here...
Hello?
We're all educated enough to realize that the 14th Amendment is not even relevant. It was never properly ratified, and it could not have been properly ratified. We don't need to have useless conversations about whether or not an illegitimate extension of an illegitimate
what am I doing right now?
Is going to say one thing or another. The entire government is illegitimate. If you like to get into the weeds and understand,
are you visiting why another solar system or something is illegitimate?
Please don't interrupt me. I find it hard as a rule to listen to you whine.
It's a question, not a whine.
I think the term is kvetch.
Are you visiting from another solar system?
As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be easier for you and your conception of what I say if you do consider me to be from another solar system.
Okay.
I am so vastly
How easy was that?
Can I ask you to explain your position? Where the amendment, right?
Yeah, I would like someone who shares something in common with me to ask me a question. If there are questions about why the 14th Amendment is not valid, so not you, not Norm. Keegan could say.
No, I get why.
Well, come on. Why are you exclusionary?
Because you guys are not Americans. Is illegitimate. He's an open racist.
I am an open racist.
Okay, well, I accept your racism, and
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I accept it.
If you're willing to accept my racism, I'm willing to help you understand the 14th Amendment.
Not that there's anything
Yeah, no, I understand the 14th Amendment. My question is, why wasn't it ratified?
Correct, thank you.
From your perspective.
Oh my God, Keegan, your pussy is as sore as your...
So ultimately, you have what is called the Civil War. You may know it by some other name. What's relevant is that we understand the time frame facts. You have 1861, the opening of hostility. The Union and the Confederate States of America
ultimately, the union, the law.
Hello, Kevin. Hey, Elmore.
Hello.
This is the argument from Alpha Centauri.
Yes, call it whatever you'd like to call it. So the basis for the legitimacy of the government. Well, let me just say very clearly, if we want something succinct, is that an illegitimate government cannot commit a legitimate act, and that really is the crux of my argument here. Not just my argument, but my whole.
And he's not just talking about Israel.
And I'm not just talking about Israel.
He's talking about the United
all
States.
things at all times.
He's talking about what was once his country. His argument is once you're a pickle, you can never be a cucumber again.
There you go.
No, dear, but there we don't go. We will not go there. Where we will go is to understand that if a government is illegitimate, its acts cannot be legitimate. And to understand that. So when I tell you that the 14th Amendment is illegitimate, understand it's because the government that sought to impose it was illegitimate. Not only that illegitimate government used a process that was not legitimate. So even if the government was legitimate, the process it claimed to utilize to legitimize the 14th Amendment.
Abby, what are you doing here listening to El Normo? Thought you wanted to leave.
And the jurists
in
his party claimed that the states did not secede and could not secede from the Union.
Oh, you must be here listening to your lover boy, Diogenes.
The states did ratify the Constitution. They became inseparably party to that contract. That contract to which they were a party specifically laid out the process for the ratification of amendments to the Constitution. After the conclusion of hostilities between the states, who's got an open mic? This is very disrespectful. I'll mute you. Who is it? Thank you.
What was their religion?
After the cessation of hostilities at the end of the so-called Civil War, the southern states who were not seceded, this is very disrespectful. I will use this green bean that I have been bestowed with to bring order and discipline, if necessary. Okay. Thank you, Norm. I don't know why. I don't even know why you were allowed onto the stage. I'm gonna imagine it was a mistake or somebody was bored. But no, thanks. I mean, look, if you had something productive to add, maybe we'll give you some time to dry out. Go ahead and put a bow on this. So, at the conclusion of hostilities, the states were still required to send delegates and representatives and House of Representatives into the Senate, and they refused to ratify the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. And then the lawmakers said, well, it doesn't matter what you have to say because you lost the war. Look it up. I'm not making it up. The ratification process laid out in the Constitution, which is supposed to establish the legitimacy of the state, was not even pretended to be followed to amend the Constitution. So,
not to mention that Colorado has a different copy of the 13th Amendment. I don't know if you've ever looked into that.
I have looked into that, and I think that it's valid. I've looked into. I think there's several other areas, but I think what we could agree on, Diego, is that the wheels came off in 1861, and arguing about something that doesn't exist, that is the legitimacy of the government, is a completely fruitless endeavor. There's no point in spending time arguing about what an illegitimate apparatus will or will not do. You have to recognize that it is illegitimate. So whether it works in your favor or against your favor, it needs to be replaced. I don't know why I was given the green bean, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just looking this up as you were reading it. I understand now. So your issue is that the states revoked, they voted against it. The federal government reseated their governments in those states after Reconstruction, and those reseated governments in the states then approved the amendment, correct? And that's the illegitimate part, is that they were forced.
No, the illegitimate part is that the Constitution, was fundamentally violated in 1861 when the northern states invaded the southern states. Slavery was legal in the North. Slavery remained legal in the North. They had just recognized and accepted West Virginia as a slaveholding state into the Union. They had acknowledged that it seceded from Virginia and that it was a legal and appropriate process for them to do this. So, as a matter of fact, the entire government apparatus is illegitimate. We don't need to worry what SCOTUS has to say. They're an illegitimate appendage.
Your boyfriend is a sovereign citizen, Abby.
On improving our condition, and we'll recognize one of the first things we need to do is explicate what is and is not proper. The language we can use was in the Declaration of Independence itself. It says, what does it say? A decent respect for the opinions of mankind compels us to declare the causes. Well, we ought to do that. We need to declare our causes. We need to draw in stone. We need to etch in stone our causes.
So you're pro-slavery and anti-constitution, correct?
Absolutely not. And see, this is why.
Wait, I want to make sure I understand.
This is why I sent you. This is why I sent you to the gulag, my boy. Because nothing I said.
Question, please.
Nothing that I said in any way, shape, or form condone slavery as an institution.
It's just a troll.
Diogenes, rather than getting distracted by trolls. So let's take the
is the ultimate troll.
The government has been operating without a legal mandate, that there is an ongoing fraud. How practicably do the people take that power back without mass bloodshed? Given the differences in weaponry strategy and the organized state, comparing the American Civil War to.
Yeah, thank you, Tuna. That's a great question, and there's a question that I'm sure all of us need to mull over. I can't pretend that I have the single definitive answer, but I will give you the best I can, and that is to tell you that ultimately we have to create a different system. We have to be able to articulate it. We have to say, this is right and this is wrong. The government is illegitimate, does not have a legal mandate, as you said. We have to be able to say that, and then to conceive of the actions of the government with that being true. You've got an open mind. When you do this, you shift your conception of this, and you don't waste time considering whether or not the Supreme Court is arguing this, that, or the other. Because you understand, well, the state doesn't have a legal right to do this. So this is a completely illegitimate act. And so then you're left in a void where you say, well, what is legitimate? And that's what we need to provide. That is how we will create the revolution, when we are able to articulate what is valid. A lot of what we believe, I think, the state, a legitimate state looks like, is predicated on the rule of law. I find very little reason to believe that the law itself, as a tool, is not a great civilizational aid and should not be a basis for our union. I believe that the ideals of free association require that people be allowed to participate or secede as they see fit from a union. Tuna, I saw you come off the mic. Is there something maybe I'm not getting to the heart of your question?
I have a follow-up.
You are. It's just raising a sort of bigger question for me. If the basis for a rebirth of America, in your viewpoint, is predicated on the idea of the fact that the Union had to unilaterally and completely agree to certain states making laws that, and correct me if I've got this wrong, but the 14th Amendment was illegitimate and it created this snowball effect of illegitimate governance.
No. I want to be clear. The illegitimacy. So again, I hope that you will. You sound like you're acting in good faith. I take that so far. I think that you are. I don't know if we've spoken before, but let's be clear that we can point to any period in history. At any point in the history of the United States of America, we can even point to the 17 late 1770s, the Confederation, right? Prior to the Constitution, we had the Articles of Confederation. And we can, along that timeline, point to various things that we might argue were or were not in keeping with the law.
Like the ratification of the Constitution, which was done through a convention and is illegitimate.
The Constitution itself was fruit of a poisonous tree in that the delegates who were sent to the convention were never given the authority to discard the Articles of Confederation and to redraw a constitution. But my point is not let perfect be the enemy of the good. It's that at every step in our agency and existence, we have the ability to use tools like writing, like the law, to ensure that violence is not what governs us, that the whims of the powerful and the wealthy are not what governs us, and that we can have a system that is more natural and that respects the right of individuals before a law, derived from a higher power and a higher purpose than greed and mammonism and the capacity to hurt other people.
Did you say law or Allah?
You can hear whatever you'd like. So I don't think it's fruitful to go back and try to poke holes. I think that it is necessary to accept that in 1861 there could not be an argument that the state was legitimate, because it chose the law, which clearly said that slavery was legal. And I've argued it so many times, but I hope that you will understand, listeners. I hope you will understand that the law has to come first. The law has to be more important than your feelings. And so if you feel that the law is wrong, you have an obligation to change the law, not to act on your feelings against the law. And even the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the biggest, baddest bogeyman that has ever been conjured in the mind of the effeminate left, understood and gained power through legal means. Adolf Hitler himself, in the beer hall putsch, locked arm in arm with fellows from the NSDAP, marched on the police in their attempt to illegally seize control of the public, and they were met with gunfire from police officers. Adolf Hitler was imprisoned. Several members, important members of the movement, were killed. And others went into hiding, and the people thought the movement was destroyed. And Adolf Hitler came out of this stronger than ever, but committed to following the law. And he said, if we are going to have success for ourselves and for our people, if we believe that our ideas are better, that our laws are better, then we have to follow the laws that exist to obtain power. We have to respect the law that we will impose. Because if we teach a disrespect for the law, how then can we use the law to serve us? And so we have all these people out here on the right and the left who believe that we can just enforce the laws we like, ignore the ones we don't. And this will always result in discord, in strife, in pain, in suffering, and exploitation, and a total lack of our sovereignty.
The law was able to condemn someone else to save them.
Don't worry about what the Supreme Court has to say. They are an illegitimate and unconstitutional appendage.
Hey,
Locke's theory? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
With that said, you're saying don't listen to the Supreme Court, but they did pass Dred v.
Oh, you're in the Matrix, Diego. You in the Matrix.
Hey, Yaakov. Yeah, Yaakov want to say something. Yaakov, you got it.
Yeah, John Locke, who probably one of the best political theorists, who really influenced Thomas Jefferson, the founding fathers, and the Declaration of Independence, and the French Revolution, said governments inherently draw their liberty from the consent of the governed, based on three things: ensuring that the government provide life, liberty, and property, meaning the protection of property, meaning if the government takes some property, they have to provide you compensation. They just can't, rip your farm from you and say it's ours. Legitimacy comes from that, but you're inherently saying legitimacy doesn't come from that? I just want to make sure I understand.
Well, I think he's saying John Locke said that laws come from nature. It's the natural law is what John Locke actually.
I don't care. I don't care what John Locke. I'm not constrained by John Locke's conception of the legitimacy of a government. I am making it abundantly clear that we have the capacity to speak, to read, to write, and to the extent that we share conceptions from phonemes, words, we have the ability to explicate something called law and to agree to participate in a contract to create a solution for our violent conflicts that doesn't involve death and dismemberment. And when we do that, we can decide that our state, thereby created, the government that we consent to create, is gaining its legitimacy from any such thing. We've had multiple empires in the history of the world that drew their legitimacy, their claim, from God. We've had monarchies. They said, we're legitimate because we have the mandate from heaven. Okay, and if you believe that's legitimate and you submit to it, so be it. It is maybe a matter for debate, but I think that it is generally accepted that the experiment, the revolution in the United States of America was predicated, nominally at least, in word at least, on the basis that we reject the legitimacy of someone who is not accepting representative government. We reject the idea that someone who is not here and claims something from before we were born can have legitimacy, and that legitimacy must be predicated on something else. They confer and they describe this as the consent to the governed, because everyone has a natural right from God to be free and sovereign and independent. And we know that those people will want to naturally cooperate with others, and then where they cooperate, that cooperation should be explicitly bound in a contract. And as long as the contract's performance is delivered, then it is legitimate. And I'm telling you that the contractual obligation of the federal government created by the Constitution has not been performed. It is not a Democrat issue. It is not a Republican issue. It has just flat out been ignored. We don't have to go as far back as 1861 if that's distasteful for you and you're so ignorant that you can't disassociate those events from slavery is bad. When the state, as you say, fails to provide for life, liberty, and the protection of property or the pursuit of happiness, however you'd like to define it, and you can argue it has lost its legitimacy, and I would agree with you. I don't care how you come to recognize the illegitimacy of the government, but it is wholly illegitimate.
And you know what he said after that was, when it doesn't provide those three things, then the people have a right for revolution.
It is not just their right, it is their duty and their responsibility.
Right. Their obedience to God.
Or abolish! Let's go! Wake that shit up.
Resistance to tyranny. Obedience to God.
You said a lot of good stuff. What's your opinion on the Talmud?
I have no opinion whatsoever on the Talmud. It's irrelevant. What we need to be doing is raising a new standard, and we need to be etching in stone what we will etch in our hearts, what we will defend, what we will protect, and we need to be focused. And so when I hear people having a conversation about, well, the Supreme Court will rule this, well, do you know it drives up? We don't need to worry about what an illegitimate government does. So I need us all to collectively take a deep breath and say, the state is illegitimate. We must work to create a legitimate system of government. We must work to protect the right of free association, speech, and the right to keep and to bear arms as the final solution to the tyranny of a state.
What?
Would you be worried that
the final solution? Preaching the last couple days, and good afternoon to everybody. What
hey,
are
Beth,
you
how's it going?
I just want to point out before she asks me a question, I will not talk to women when it comes to politics, because that which is political is as Carl Schmitt said, you know, politics is warfare by other means, or was that who was that? Von Clausewitz, yes, yeah. The political is the extension of war by other means, and women have no place in war. I will not send my daughter, my wives, or my mother to go fight in a war, and I will not have them
fight and a proxy for war, so I will not have anything to do with anything women have to say on the matter.
Tell her you'll talk to her husband at best.
Very good. You may send your husband, and I'll take those questions.
Okay,
so did we all take a deep breath? Are we all ready to engage in a little group activity where we can say, hey, definitively, the state is illegitimate. I recognize that, and I'm going to stop pretending or allowing this insidious idea to creep into my speech and into my actions, where I take something that is wholly illegitimate, that I recognize could only rationally, logically be illegitimate, and treating it as legitimate.
What if they're trying to take away your rights, and while they're doing it, they're quoting the Sanhedrins?
I'm not going to speak to you any longer. Thank you so much for participating. I guess no one wants to participate in that group activity, but I assure you it'd be very fun.
The state is illegitimate, and I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Let's go! Proud to count you among the members of the Red Party, Diego.
You turn on the news and you see Ted Cruz. He's talking about the Sanhedrins.
Diego's the only one with the courage to do it.
So are you saying the Sanhedrin, they're like good? That's good, or?
Let me help you. Let me help you with the understanding of Sanhedrin here. There we go. Now you'll have all the knowledge you need about the Sanhedrin.
Yeah.
See that silence?
So I already know about it.
Everything you need to know, my boy.
Just switched up sides. You got some power, switched up.
Are you like an Israeli type of person? And I just want to know
Are you talking to me? No, I'm not like an Israeli type of person.
You must
I am the persecutor of the Jews.
You don't allow any questions, do you? The immunity is there. But when you allow questions, I just want to see. I just want to ask questions about stuff because I don't know which side to take. The United States or the Israelis, so I don't know which one to take. But both of them actually denied.
Those are the same side. I'm not really understanding why you see them as sides. They're not on opposite sides. They're on the same side. They're all working in the interest of transnational capital. Let me give you an example of this, okay? In World War II, a necessary precursor to the creation of the Israeli state.
My bad. I didn't mean the United States as far as Trump being sucked into the Israel thing. I meant the people who are trying to divide from the Israel thing. So when I say United States, I mean that side of the United States, the people that are trying to disassociate from Israel and Israel. And there's a part of the United States that are in a sense slaves to the Israel basically.
That's right, my brother.
Why did he get back up on stage? I'm not Superman, I'm not God, but I want to understand your question, Young. I'm not really quite clear on what you're trying to ask. Let me give you a little example, though, that I think will be informative. At least, Diego, you might appreciate this. Do a little research, and you'll find out that while English boys between the ages of 17 and 25 were fighting and dying at the hands of German soldiers, a bank vault in London held thousands of pounds of German gold for the Germans. Now, do you see the problem with that? The Germans are killing the Englishmen, but the English banks are holding and protecting the gold for the Germans who are killing them. This is transnational capital at work. That is the enemy that I seek to dispossess and destroy in the vein of the great Andrew Jackson, Old Hickory, apocryphally saying, "You are a den of vipers and thieves, and by the eternal God, I will rout you out."
Oy vey, who's running those banks?
Sorry, just say it. Just say it.
How do I have to shut him up for good? How do I put him in the oven? Is there an oven? Is there an
I
oven?
mean,
Where's the oven?
He's got a point, right? Why does the British royal family have a mohel? I mean, he has a point.
Well, here's the thing: if you go back to the First World Wars, Chase was a man behind what Diogenes is talking about, and Chase is not a Jew. Okay, so this really has to do with greedy fucking bankers looking to capitalize on both sides and not really being loyal to any side, but enriching themselves and fattening their fucking pockets.
Well said, Sig. Wake that up and make sure that everyone fucking hears it, because this is so fucking counterproductive for
You to get hung up on this idea, oh, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. They love it. They don't exist unless you recognize them. And so they constantly fucking interrupt and try to make it about them because they are pathetic, servile little fuck sticks who have never been able to successfully establish a nation. They are parasites. Cut them out. You are being actively betrayed by rich fucking white men, rich fucking black men, by rich fucking yellow men. It doesn't matter. The only constant thread is their ability to manipulate your conception of value and exploit you. To get you to send your blood to die while they enrich themselves thereby. That is the rule, and that is transnational capital.
I agree. I'm going to say something too also very quick, and I'll be giving it back. I'm going to say this very quick. In the Bible, it talks about the kings and God saying, hey, don't give yourself to these kings. You're going to be selling your sons off, and they're going to have to go to war, and they'll run in front of the chariots. And the kings will have this, they'll do all these things to you. And it's crazy you just got to mention that. And so our whole world is full of this manipulation. Yeah, so that's a good point, man. And that's why I said no kings thing. That's a good ass point that there also. But yeah.
Did somebody say adrenochrome?
Are you in the reserves, Diogenes?
I'm not. The only way that they can possibly get me back, Diego, is if they have a draft. I've already served all my time. My active time and my individual ready reserve time has already been served in full.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm not. I got a friend, though. I got a friend who just got out, and I asked him, I was like, you good? He's like, yeah, unless they draft, I'm good. I already did. My IR time was good, too. I was like, all right. I was worried about you because he was actually stationed. He was stationed with the 33rd MU. He just got out, like, literally a month before the deployment, so.
I mean, we might have our political disagreements amongst Americans, but I'm praying for all Americans that do, if they end up getting deployed or drafted, because this is a bad one.
Yeah, it is definitely a bad one. It is, look, the state is illegitimate, and, if we can get them to wake up to that, we need to create a space for them to object to their participation here. Nav, I want you to come up here and take your licks, Nav, for being a fucking Trump glazier while he's doing everything I told you he would do. You told me I was wrong. You told me, oh God, Diogenes, he's America first. He cares about America. And I was like, Trump is not going to convict anyone of anything. He is not going to convict anyone. I said this very clearly to you. I said he is not going to convict anyone for this so-called stolen election. He is not going to convict anyone related to Clinton. He's not going to convict anyone for employing illegal aliens, and he is never going to engage in mass deportation. And here we are. You fucking voted for him. Because you know what the truth is? You're looking out for yourself and the military-industrial complex. That's the fucking truth of it. And I hate it, but here we are.
And that's a burn.
Yep, and look at, you know what, it's great that Brad jumped into the room because Brad and I have had a disagreement on the basis that I was willing to criticize the blind participation in the United States military, and most importantly, the approbation and acclaim we unquestioningly are called to visit on them for their continual support for an illegitimate state. As I was saying, Diego, we should try to create a safe environment for those people who are actively participating and going to do the bleeding and the dying. And there are thousands of U.S. servicemen who are dead at this point. The United States is not admitting it to you, but there are thousands of dead U.S. soldiers from the Iranian strikes. We should try to wake up the other boys and girls who are being sent to die. I saw pictures from the well deck of the 11th MU, and I deployed with the 11th MU. And I saw pictures from the well decks from these guys getting on the LCACs. These guys fucking 18, 19, 20 years old, and I saw the look in their eye, and I was like, these guys don't even have the fucking faintest conception of what a legitimate government is. And we have an obligation to protect them from giving their lives for something so goddamn foolish and worthless as money that's being printed right now as the Federal Reserve buys treasuries and the secondary market. And ask your fucking favorite AI where the money comes from to buy that fucking debt. They fucking make it up. And people are going to go and die for that because we're failing them, because we're continually telling them, thank you for your service, and you're so brave and so noble because you signed on the fucking dotted line. And we perpetuate the ignorance and the continued tyranny of an illegitimate state.
Go ahead.
Can I negotiate with you rather than destroying the federal government for you to be in favor of secession for your own state, wherever you're living?
Well, so, we don't need to destroy the federal government as much as we need to create a new system. And because what you do, I think all experience in history has shown that what you do is you create a better system. You create a clear system. You create a new standard. You raise that standard. And as you do that, people will join your cause. And then you'll have all the questions answered for you. The path becomes clear. National socialism in Germany, in Weimar Germany, was the only solution. It was the only reasonable thing for reasonable men to do. Far be it from the narrative portrayed in modern media that the Austrian painter, for all of his humble beginnings, somehow touched in something occult and became capable of hypnotizing entire populations. He simply represented the will of the people. And he opened himself to channel the will of a people, oppressed and beaten down and exploited to the fullest extent by transnational capital.
So I'm not sure I guess it's a little bit clear what all of the deranged sermon is, but just and I'm pretty certain that every claim can be critiqued and dismantled. But one of them specifically that I have looked into before is the claim that British government was holding money for Germans, unquote. That's a very deceptive claim because those assets during World War I and World War II were frozen as an enemy asset with the label of an enemy asset. So they were not held, or no business was done with Germany at the time. Those assets were frozen just the same way as the Iranian assets were frozen.
The Bank of maybe. I'm not sure what the status of that gold was, but I will tell you the Bank of International Settlements was very clear, as it provided clearing services for Germany, and when Czechoslovakia was taken over, ask where did the gold go? They said, oh well, we just changed the name on the gold. It didn't move. No, it didn't move. We just changed the name on it. Because we don't really have any allegiance. And it was an American. Born in America, raised in America, who was responsible for the Bank of International Settlements. You know who made the Bank of International Settlements? It was, I think it was the United States. And they continued to process and clear transactions to ensure that National Socialist Germany could exist and import the things it required for its war industry. So the point stands. Transnational capital is the enemy. And I'm not trying to take a position as I don't want to be seen as criticizing the National Socialist German Workers' Party. I would hope that when all was said and done, they would have come after the Bank of International Settlements. But that history was not to be. But we are here now, and we can recognize that we don't have the ability to express values outside of a totally fabricated currency. And that is the basis for sovereignty. Everything that you buy, everything that you sell is mediated by a create out of nothing. That means that it is worthless. It has no value. And they're printing it right now, by the way. He's on the phone. That's not fair.
That's why you're seeing all the banks buying up all this gold, man. Because they know where the value's at. It ain't in this fucking fiat currency, this bullshit dream they've been selling.
Yeah, and I ask people who consider themselves informed about the financial system what the reserve requirements are for banks right now. Prior to COVID, I used to constantly point out that there was a fraudulent monetary system, on the basis that the fractional reserve was like 10%. You only had to keep 10% in reserves. But in March of 2019, something very strange happened. Something that I thought would make it clear that our entire financial system is as illegitimate as our government. And that was the banks had all of their reserve requirements reduced to zero, meaning by law,
no bank was required to have any reserves of any kind.
Even remotely true. You're just
No, that's 100% true, dude.
Pause.
Brad, you're fucking retarded. $1 million in 6 A.
Pause. Okay, so go ahead and look it up. Go ahead and look it up, Brad.
Do this.
Okay, Brad.
It was March 2021, and that means they're.
So we can do this, and I can finish my statement, and you guys.
Oh, wow. Okay, why don't you go ahead and look it up?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do this because again, I've been in this room longer than you guys. But like I stated, I'm going to finish it. Currently, the reserve requirements of depository institutes is $37.8 million. The trash amount, or what you would.
What are the reserve requirements, Brad? What are the reserve requirements?
$645.8 million.
What are the reserve requirements?
Okay.
Just give him a chance to rebut, bro. Give him a chance to rebut. All right, let's be fair. We can have a discussion because there's people who want to learn and want to hear both sides. So let Brad rebut and be fair. All right.
And I'll do that.
Yeah, actually, shut your nigger mouth.
Yeah. So right now, the $37.8 million is what the reserve requirement exemption amounts are, and their previous amount was in 2024 $36.1 million. So it actually received there the low reserve amount.
I had to do that. Sorry, he moved me down for no reason. I didn't cut him off. I don't know why he did that. That was a bad move by me, but you can't do that. I mean, come on, you can't.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, okay,
I agree. Let's not cut everyone off. But I didn't even interrupt.
Doesn't deserve a mod.
But listen.
I want to point out he's lying.
Hold on. Let me get order back in the room real quick. Hold on.
I don't even know what he's referencing.
Hold on. Diego. Just give me 2 seconds to get order back in the room. All right, so here's the deal. All right. Again, we're discussing ideas, gentlemen. Give someone some room to breathe and rebut. All right, and yeah, Brad, don't drop people down who haven't, broken the rules or been just.
So actually, I dropped them down because they started modding Rico and absolutely.
I didn't mod anyone. How'd you know that? How'd you know that I did?
Because I can tell.
Okay, so why don't you move everybody out of the mod? Yeah, and you be the only mod.
I can do this because I can see the news on the top. I can see who did it. You dipweed.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Okay, hold on real quick. Let me. Okay,
I can move it down. So it just doesn't matter though. These two twits were like modding absolutely everybody to have their little KKK crew come in and be like the overwhelming force. I thought they would do it.
Here's the thing.
See it, you can watch it.
Here's the thing, guys. We gotta be fucking. And I'm looking now. All right, yeah, I'm looking at. Okay, so here's the deal. In my room, I'm the only one that's gonna mod people. All right, and I should be able to trust you, gentlemen, to be mature, be able to agree to disagree, but don't mod anybody else unless I'm the one that's giving the mod. But look, guys, let's have the conversation because I'm listening to both sides and I want to learn too. I want to hear both sides. Let me let hold on. Let me turn the hand raising off so I can get Diogenes back up here. Yo, we just fucking kicked Brad back.
I had to. I had my leg back. I had to get my leg.
Brad's a faggot, Sig. I don't know why you respect.
All right, I moved you down, Keegan. Nobody's gonna hide you.
Keegan, Diogenes. So last thing you want is crazy. To make me a fucking
grown ass man. All right, so not needed. Hand raising. Everybody come up. Hand raising's off. Come on up. It'll be, I guess, me and Pepe because we got a bunch of fucking vaginal tampons. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Trying to hear this shit. All right. This is crazy, bro.
What's up, Sig?
What's going on?
What's going on, Nick?
All right, come back up. Diogenes, come back up, man.
What's going on, man? Where's everybody on their fucking...
I want to be clear, Sig, because we'll have conversations after this. Brad got on his stage, interrupted me, and then I let him talk. Diego said something, and he kicked Diego down. He advertised it. He said, "This is what I'm going to do to you," and he kicked Diego down. When he did that, I brought Diego back up and tried to mod him to prevent him from being.
All right, stop crying about it. Hold on, bitches.
Okay. All right. That makes sense, Diogenes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. All right. Let's keep the conversation going, Jens, because I'm learning to lie here.
Yeah. Here's the point. What Brad tried to do is lie by bringing up something that's completely ancillary to the fact that I stated, which is objectively true. There is a zero reserve requirement since March 2000. I was wrong in the year, 2020. I thought it was 2019. 2020. There is no reserve requirement, which means that the money is completely fake. You can argue, they said that these reserves exist, but there's no reserve requirement whatsoever. You would have to audit every financial institution right now to verify what they did have and what they did not have on their balance sheets. And guess what? They would legally have to have no value on their balance sheet. That's a fact.
Well, and they didn't have it before. I mean, you're just talking about physical dollars, but those dollars they are instruments of debt, so they didn't have any value to begin with.
Well, yes, right, but I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, it's one thing to try and point out to those who are intellectually challenged that money, that the primary transnational capitalist tool to deprive nations of their sovereignty, of their blood, and of their soil is interest to debt. It's another to simply point out that how can you claim that your value expression is legitimate in any way, shape, or form when there's zero reserve requirements actively printing money? It's actively doing that. It's right now, as a matter of fact.
Remember when I said, basically what they're trying to claim, I kind of believe what you're saying, though. But they're trying to claim, though, that it's short-term T-bills, and it's only to get liquidity control and not for economic stimulus.
Right. But three. You got to understand. Yeah. They're always. Your mic is a little low. I think I heard most of what you're saying. You got to understand. They're always going to have a practical excuse that depends on them being smarter than you are to justify what they're doing. And what you really need to look at is what is the actual legitimacy of their action. Fundamentally, legitimacy is obtained by productivity. Is what you're doing productive, and do other people agree to participate, especially when it comes to an economic model? The entire economic model in the United States is predicated on deception and your inability to conceive of the fact that the money comes from nowhere. It is not tied to anything.
Move to Chicago?
The idea, if you are to take them seriously to some extent, not the fullest extent, you maintain some healthy skepticism. You're not fully well, but you've got some healthy skepticism. They make an argument about gross domestic product. But gross domestic product is not measuring any real productivity. It includes money that is simply changing hands regardless of whether or not a good or service has entered the economy. And as I said, and you can verify this for yourself, the Federal Reserve is creating money from nothing. It is literally getting on a keyboard and telling the secondary market, give us treasuries and we will credit your account. The money, has there been an increase in the productivity in the United States? No, in fact, there's been a decrease. And not only has there been a decrease in productivity in the United States, globally, more police and firefighters on our streets. Up to this point, and it can be argued still, depends on U.S. dollars as the primary clearing tool, is gridlocked with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And they're printing more money. You can't deny that productivity globally is declining rapidly with the closure of the strait. Yet we're printing more money. Clearly, money is not connected to real goods and services. And if money is not connected to real goods and services, I challenge you to show me a legitimate basis.
Hello, everybody. We're this
Central banking is a key tenet of Marx's
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The problem is not whether or not there is a central bank. You can have a central bank that is legitimate and issues money in a direct quantity to the goods and services.
So let's hear Brad.
As a discrete nation.
This guy just likes the.
Let's hear.
I don't have time in the office. I actually have a job. I'm not working part time, and then crying about
Brad
situation. Well, vibes go up. I'm going to go get angry.
So Brad, Brad?
Dude, you still let me.
All right, guys. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so Brad, I want to hear your rebuttal because everything that I've researched I've been researching the past few weeks. It's
literally about captive resources. Have you?
Well, I want to hear it. That's why I want to hear your rebuttal. I want to hear what
you know about reserve requirements and all that stuff. So, like, it's here saying that the
Rico.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? You got it. So, like, I mean, you're gonna let these guys do it, man. Because if you can't mod them, then you can't mod them.
Because
you know what? You can keep the Keegans. You can keep the
Because you're making this personal, like you always do, Brad. It's not personal. I want to hear both sides, Brad, and just quit making this shit personal.
You don't want.
Wait, that's why I just called on you. And I said I want to hear your side.
What I mean?
Guys, Brad is fine.
I'm just saying, we're gonna mod abuse all the fuck out of all of you.
All right. So again.
We'll block Keegan.
Again. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yo, Rich, shut the fuck up. So, yeah, I want to hear what your rebuttal is, Brad, because everything I've been researching the last few weeks, Diogenes, from what I've seen, is spot on. So what's your rebuttal and why?
So the current reserve requirement for all U.S. depository institutions is zero, but it changed over time. And the requirement now is $674.1 million in the low reserve tranche. What he's taking apart is because he actually doesn't understand the reserve requirement exemptions and low reserve tranche claims because he doesn't understand economics. What he's doing is he's listening to somebody online kind of give a partial take on it and then exemplifying that. The requirement is actually an exemption that's set at $39.2 million since 2026. So that issue that he just stated is null and void because he actually doesn't understand economics. Neither do the twits in here, nor do they understand federal regulations or actually IORBs. They don't have anything on this, and they don't understand the ONRRPs that exist within the financial realm. So, I mean, again, if you're going to have that kind of discussion, make sure you cover it from top to bottom and not just cherry pick it up as some Tinder thing and then think somehow or another this idiot's right.
Hey, Brian, I just looked it up, though, and it says that there is no reserve requirement.
Of course, it does say that, but go on to further. The reserve requirement exemption and low reserve tranche is zero. However, the Federal Reserve continue to publish its annual indexes and reserve requirements exemptions. Amounts of low reserve as required by the statute for 2026. The reserve requirement exemption is set at $39.2 million. The tranche is set at $674.1 million. So you can look those up and understand that, hey, guess what? What he's saying is partially true just to try to trick you into giving it. It's like saying, oh my God, look at how evil this person is, but actually not looking at the whole structure behind it. And if you're not an economist, or if you're a part-time truck driver who just thinks you can articulate stands up with some Marxism or read it off some Reddit page to try to help facilitate your point without actually reading it yourself and making some conditions like this idiot just did.
So Brad, just listen to me, bro. Hold on, Diogenes. Just listen to me because I'm very curious about what both of y'all are talking about, and I want the right answer. So I just looked up what is the trench set at, and does it matter? And it says the low reserve trench was a cutoff level of old deposits, but it's irrelevant. That's what it's saying. That's what it's basically telling me.
The reserve requirement being set at zero allows banks to sit there and lend out 100% of their net transactions. That's all that means.
No shit, Sherlock! It's just the fact that they don't have to have anything on hand and the fact that they're a fucking bank, retard. No, it's partially true. It's partially true, but actually totally factually accurate to say without any doubt that there are zero reserve requirements. There are zero reserve requirements. Zero reserve requirements. Full fucking stop. Waving your fucking hand.
You're not going to
bro. Can y'all stop arguing? Because I'm just trying to learn from both of y'all. Because what you saying, Brad, it says what you said in 2020, but it says that shit stopped in 2020 though. That's 6 years ago.
So let me tell you what the zero reserve requirement actually means. It's subject only to the capital and the liquidity of regulations. The Federal Reserve currently uses interest on the reserve balance, or the IORB rate, which for those of you that work in finance or insurance will know regularly because you see that on a daily basis. the IORB, the interest on reserve balances. And then you have the ONRRP, which is overnight reserve repurchase agreements that help set short-term interest rates and manage liquidity in the banking system. This kind of changes the way we did reserve requirements as a tool for controlling money supply. So idiots like Digenese couldn't figure out how they couldn't freaking go and falsify on debts. They couldn't take out more than they wanted to spend. So they basically changed these requirements to ensure big corporates. And while these guys are spinning and freaking about it, they actually don't know how this system actually works. So they're just spinning this on one approach. It doesn't mean that there's not money in the bank. It doesn't mean that the requirements are somehow nefarious. What it does allow is a better, broader complication of loaning and lending while being able to recoup it at a faster rate. They don't require to
because he's absolutely trying to respond to my argument without giving me a chance to respond, and he's spreading horseshit. Can I stop moving? Well, you're letting three.
Right, give him room to fucking rebut and breathe. When he's done, then respond to the points. I'm taking notes down right now, so you can do the same. You can take notes down and respond to his points. Go ahead, Brad. You got.
He doesn't want you to get convinced of the truth because he spent all this time.
Hey, Sid.
Hey, Brad's got the mic. Brad's got the mic.
I'm not trying to take Brad's mic. We're trying to let you know. Can I read what they say it is, and then they can think about what the fact is instead of listening to two opinions, bro.
I'm gonna let you. Okay, give Brad room to breathe, and then you can ask his question since it's the back and forth between you two. Okay, hold on, stop, man, stop, yo, fucking. Hey, hold on, quit fucking disrespecting me, bro. Brad's got the mic and respond, and then we'll open it back up. Brad, you got it.
So again, look at the actual requirements. These people that are coming on here screaming about like this guy, he doesn't actually understand the policy of it. So like, just because they're set at zero doesn't mean that they can just go ahead and go bankrupt. That's called misinformation. It's called lying, and nobody would be doing that because you know who would be screaming about it? The Mandamis of the world, the AOCs. They'd be screaming about this all the way to the bank. But these idiots don't really understand how the Federal Reserve actually works in terms of that board. So the dollar amount of a depository institution reserve requirement is determined by applying reserve requirement ratios, which is specified out in fucking multiple board regulations. Like I think there's a whole, like it's 10,000 fucking pages long. These are outlined all the way to its reserve liabilities. So the Federal Reserve Act authorizes the board to impose new reserve requirements on transactions amount and non-personal time deposits. So if you have this actually going on in the insurance and finance field, again, I ask you, why not listen to people who work in those fields on a daily basis rather than listen to some guy who's driving a truck and then sits there and gets a TikTok information or goes on to like fucking George Jones podcast and figures out, oh, I'm just going to regurgitate some dumb shit. And if you think I'm wrong, C is about to, or whoever the gentleman is about to read it to you. So apparently I'm not wrong. This guy that's about to try to argue my point is apparently wrong because he can't provide nothing.
I'm gonna let Diogenes go ahead and go and debate that, and then I'm gonna
appreciate that very much.
read what it says. I'm gonna read what it says online so that we can figure out what the fuck is the truth.
And go ahead and look up Federal Register, Volume 85, number 57, Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. Regulations. This is the actual
Federal Register, Volume 55.
Yeah, let me type it in the chat. 12 CFR Part 204.
I want to specifically address the IORB.
Yes, Diego. Yes, and I want you to have the opportunity to do that, Diego. I want you guys to be able to pick apart the horse shit that he just tried to hand wave to convince people. Like you see how his argument went from Diogenes is lying to, well, Diogenes is partially right to, well, Diogenes is right about that, but he doesn't understand how that's not relevant. You can go read. Shut the fuck up, you stupid, insignificant little cocksucker. Shut the fuck up. Now we're disrespecting you, Brad.
Okay, so we're gonna let Diogenes respond. We heard Brad. We heard your side. Diogenes, go ahead if you want.
I got a few more interruptions to go through.
We'll let Diego go. Brad, I'm just Brad. Look, I'm asking you nicely, brother. And I hate the fact.
I got
okay, but you start. Hold on. You started moving. Brad, stop.
Wait, you hold me.
I'm asking you, brother. Just put the personal shit aside so we can hear both sides. No. I don't have a different standard, Brad. Because I go through this shit with you all the time when I'm out. You always bring this personal shit. I ask you, in this space, drop the personal shit and let's stick to the topic. That's all I'm asking, bro.
I should do it. I will not talk about how certain wives go to Africa.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, bro. Nobody cares about that right now. Let's stick to the topic. So, Diogenes, go ahead. You got the mic, brother, so we can hear your rebuttal.
Thank you very much. I would ask that I not be interrupted.
Oh, I'm going to interrupt you all the time. Just as
no, we're not. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Just win, man.
All right, so here we go. Last time Diogenes is speaking. Anybody comes off mic, you're going down to the fucking goo. That's it. Bottom line,
But I mean, he was able to do it the entire time.
We can clearly see that Brad went through the stages of denial where he started with Diogenes is outright wrong and he's lying. And then he went to, well, Diogenes is partially right, to Diogenes is actually 100% right. He made a factual assertion, but here's why his factual assertion doesn't have any real influence on the financial system. Great. So we got back to where we started, and we spent a whole lot of fucking time doing nothing. Because the fact of the matter is, the reserve requirements don't exist. Which means that when the money is being printed, and it is, you can go and look right now, the Federal Reserve is buying treasuries on the secondary market, and it is simply creating Federal Reserve entries on the balances with those secondary institutions. It is creating money from nothing. So it's creating money from nothing. The banks aren't required to hold any money, and you're going to tell me that this system has any legitimacy? Yeah. 3, I want to point you in the right direction. Ultimately, you're going to waste your time if you're trying to go through all of the different justifications that have been offered. As a matter of fact, the Federal Reserve did argue that eliminating the Federal Reserve requirements is just a sensible thing to do to improve financial conditions. But I ask you to have more sense than that. To understand that money needs to be tied to something that has value or has some persistence, some value that you can conceive of, if you're going to use it accurately. Because at the point where it's fucking printed, brother, you're a fucking slave when you depend on it. And because the whip doesn't bite as hard and the manacles are not as tight, does not mean that you have any more freedom or sovereignty, because your entire conception, your mortgage, your rent, the food that you buy at the store is mediated by whether or not that counterparty can stop fucking interrupting me, you certified cocksucker. You are the most disrespectful. I can't believe Sig gives you a time of day. You are so disrespectful. Shut the fuck up. The point is not about what kind of excuses are used to justify the removal of the reserve requirement. It's that the reserve requirement was removed. And it was removed because, in essence, they needed to ensure that they could continue to keep the Ponzi scheme going. They needed to continue to manipulate the public's perception of the value expressed in U.S. dollars. And I want us to all collectively recognize that the economy is as illegitimate as the state. That's it. And if you guys want to look into that, you want to research that, cool, do it. But understand that they are not smarter than you. These people who spend all day figuring out how to justify their fraud and exploitation are not smarter than you. They wear suits and they dress up and they're well groomed in the hopes that this will convey a sense of betterness. But they're not. It's the age-old fraud. They're literally just making money that you have to work for. And they tell you, oh, we're making it because we need to make sure there's adequate liquidity. It's like, okay, well then give that liquidity to me, bitch. Because if you understand, and this is an irrefutable fact, that if you have a fixed amount of currency representing a certain quantity of goods and services in an economy, and while holding the goods and services in the economy equal, you increase the currency competing for the same quantity, you have just created inflation. You have just devalued the purchasing power for everyone else who holds that currency. And so the appropriate course of action is to only increase the currency in an amount directly equivalent to the productivity, the goods and services that have entered the economy to avoid deflation. Okay, acceptable. And if you are going to increase the currency, you're going to increase the amount of currency in that fixed system, then you should do it justly and fairly before the law, wherefore all men are equal, and ensure that in direct proportion to the purchasing power lost, you remunerate the individuals who hold that currency. Don't accept excuses for why we can't do this when you are required to file a tax return every year to tell the federal government exactly where you are, exactly how much money you made, exactly how much purchasing power you have. They know this about you as a matter of federal law, and they refuse to ensure that your purchasing power is protected when they print the money, and they hand it to the banks that have no reserve requirement to keep
So
it.
I got a question for you, Diogenes, based on your submission. Because one thing I've seen that constantly came up as a rebuttal is that this might be a 40 chess move to devalue our dollar to bring manufacturing back into the United States the same way China has done over the past 6 decades or so. What do you have?
Yeah, what I have to say, Sig, is that ultimately you can get in bed with the devil because you think he's going to make you rich, or you can get into bed with the devil because you think he's going to make you young, or you can get in bed with the devil because you're just a faggot. But at the end of the day, you got in bed with the devil. No 4D chess moves add legitimacy to an illegitimate act that does not represent the will of the people and only serves to enslave them to interest on debt.
Diogenes and Sig, if I may, I want to educate Sig on a couple of very important things about American law. Number one is, just I want to say from the outset so you know where I'm going with this. The reason that they're doing all of this is to bring about a controlled by a central bank of the United States. They're trying to create the third central bank of the United States. But, okay, the law is very clear. The Constitution, the first article, the first set of laws of the Constitution clearly state what a dollar is, who has the power to set the standards and weights and measures, and more importantly, the Federal Reserve creates these instruments of debt, which are not by any statute money, okay? 12 U.S.C. 411, they are instruments redeemable in lawful money, and they are illegitimate, or they are void ab initio, because there is no appropriation made by Congress for these instruments, which is a requirement, Article 1, Section 9. Okay? So they're completely void, man. It's a complete Ponzi scheme designed to bring about total control on the U.S. population. It's not about making money for U.S. industries or anything. It's about basically laundering.
So, how do we, as the people, what do we do about it? What's the solution? How do we fight against it?
Well, some people do Plan B. Are you familiar with Plan B? No?
No, what's Plan B?
Plan B is it's a thing called Bitcoin. That's one option. Some people do gold and silver. That's kind of like the Plan A. That's the old school plan.
But isn't Bitcoin the digital currency you just talked about as far as the method of?
No. Bitcoin is a private protocol, maintained by voluntary participants, and it's not controlled by a sovereign.
Okay. Copy that. So
and it's not money. Okay, it's a form of it's a system designed to facilitate barter.
We're in 2026. We're still explaining.
So what I'm saying is basically, do you think that our money that we have in the United States, do you think it will ever be backed by anything again, or just what they running with? So
Yes. I mean, it'll have to be, right, because eventually the legal system is going to be where you have Article 1, Section 8 and 10, which specifically say that you can't do these things. You cannot create paper money. It's right there in the Constitution. And whenever it actually touches the Supreme Court, there's likely going to be a referendum, and they will eliminate the Federal Reserve note. They're going to have to bring back, Treasury notes at the very least, if not just straight up make physical money again, because that's the only thing that the Constitution affords. There's no other. I mean, you'd have to have some kind of amendment that will never get voted on. No one will ever accept it. So something's going to happen.
So, Diego, question for you. What's the difference between the central bank cryptocurrency and Bitcoin's cryptocurrency?
Central bank cryptocurrency is a violation of the Appropriations Clause. It's a violation of Article 1, Sections 8 and 10, monetary powers and disabilities.
You said articles, section 1. What was that?
Sections 8, 9, and 10. Okay? Let me tell you how bad the situation is right now. As of May 16th, the Supreme Court passed a decision that is it PB, which is a sub-agency of the Federal Reserve, is now the first agency in the United States that has the legal right to create its own budget and pay itself. Meaning it can, like what Diogenes was talking about, where it can create money out of thin air, but now it can actually fund itself. So again, violation of section 9 of Article 1, because it's now, there's no appropriation. It just decides what its own budget is and then pays itself with Federal Reserve notes.
What's that shit you were saying What's that shit you were saying about the IORB?
The IORB is the thing that replaced the reserve requirement. Yeah. But basically, what it does is it incentivizes banks to deposit money at the Federal Reserve because the interest rates are preferable. So it's not true what Brad is saying that there are requirements. There are no requirements. They just have this incentive mechanism that they've installed, and it kind of makes them have a reserve, but it's voluntary. They don't have to do it.
Is this the repo market?
No, this is what Brad was talking about. It's like it's the interest incentive system that they created to replace the reserve requirement. So most banks still keep some kind of reserve. But if you remember what Brad said, $39 million. Do you understand that just your average major bank in the United States is dealing in trillions? $39 million, that's a joke. That's like saying, hey, put a penny here, and that's a reserve. Like, you know what I mean? A fraction of a penny for that.
Looks like Hanukkah came early this year.
Yeah, so I saw Baseball was in the chat disagreeing. Yo, Baseball, what up, bro? Are you able to come up? Because I want to hear your side, because you're disagreeing. If you're able to come up, bro. I definitely, it sounds like you work in the industry, too, and I want to hear your take. And Brad, look, man, I love you to death, bro, but you're not being fair right now, bro. And I'm trying to, these men have been respectful to let you fucking speak, bro. Because I want to hear your side, too, and I think everybody deserves to hear your side as well. But you got to be fair, Brad.
When were they respects? First off, Tweedledee and Tweedlefuck, the guy who's getting his wife is getting fucked in the ass by a gangbang, and the other guy who can't afford child support. These two idiots, spare me about your fairness. Don't give me fair. You put me down in the queue so they could sit there and disparage me as well. And then you had Diego, who contradicted himself. It's literally a Bitcoin Ponzi scheme. That's all it is. And then he says, there's no reserve requirements, but it's incentivized. But there are reserve requirements. The 30.9 million, or whatever it was, 35.9, that is actually required per bank, per financial institution. So no, it doesn't need to have any of those set up, but it does need to have a lot more on top of that. And again, if you're looking at only major banks, yeah, but you forget that there's a whole freaking banking network across the country, and you're leaving those out. So the idea that you're going to take and manufacture into fucking Bitcoin, and that's the only solution to go forward, that's absurd. Like you're just investing in trade share stocks. You're not investing in Bitcoin. It's nothing more than a share of a part ownership. You're not doing anything because it has no intrinsic value. It isn't gold. It isn't some consumable. It isn't any of that stuff. So what they're telling you is fraudulently false. And if the whole currency system were to collapse in turn, because that's what they're fearing, your Bitcoin is fucking worthless. Because guess what? China would make it mandatory that you have to follow on their currency.
Everybody here the mic.
Hold on, mute up, 3ski. Yeah, mute. Hey guys, mute up so Brad can finish. Go ahead, Brady.
I'm saying his mic is fucked up. I couldn't hear him, see him?
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, she can get a little bit closer to your mic, Brad. Go ahead.
But I mean, you got the twins there, you know, the two that like circle jerk each other. And I mean, you got it all right. You got it all figured out. Say you didn't need oppositional voices. This is why nobody's coming up.
Don't do that. Don't do that shit to me, Brad. Cause it's bullshit. If I had.
I just heard.
Okay. You're not gonna fucking accuse me of something that's not true. I've been more than fair to hear your side, and I want to hear your side of the opposition.
No, you don't.
That's why I got 6 notes in front of me right now, John. Everything all you guys have been saying, so I can go do my fucking homework. So don't put that shit on me. But go ahead and finish.
Okay. Yeah, you got it, dude. You got your answers. Like, listen to these twat waffles who fucking have been in Clubhouse for 5 years. Tell me what any of them do that actually provide some significant income and how expensive their lifestyles are. You got one who lives in a fucking home and works at an Ace Hardware as a lawnmower mechanic. You got another one who can't afford child support, which is
denying insurance claims isn't really a job either, buddy.
You know what? You're right, but I do it on a national-wide scale, and I get paid a lot more than you.
Hey, Sid, can I ask a really quick question?
Yeah, you done, Brad? You done with your mic? All right, go ahead, lovely.
You're making these claims about Bitcoin, Gay King. Oh, my bad, Viking. Can you tell us in 59 seconds, without using the gay app, ChatGDP, LGBTQ, what blockchain technology is? Thank you, Gay King.
Is it the same one? Is that the same one that gave me the powdered milk for your?
Oh, so now you're gonna ask me. So you don't know what blockchain is? Thank you, Gay Lords. Thank you, you're amazing.
That whole thing of where
Thank you, Gay
actually where that failed.
I'll send you $20 for your new butt plug. Thank you. You are amazing.
On an amateur card.
Can we go back to the topic?
For the record, I wasn't saying you're speaking for the United States government. I was just saying that's an option for you as a personal individual. No, obviously I want the.
Equating to Diego.
Obviously, I believe in the U.S. government. The Coinage Act of 1792. I believe that the U.S. dollar is a certain amount of grams of silver, and that's what I want to bring back. Obviously, I'm not like.
So you want to go back to the gold standard?
No, we never had a gold standard. We had a silver standard.
Silver standard. You want to go to a gold standard universally overall?
I want to go back to hard money.
Let's not change the subject. We can have a political discussion, guys.
You can just be quiet and sit down. Go back to work, burn those fries, and go.
Because that's the point, right?
If you guys listen closely, you'll notice that when you're really trying to understand what makes sense to Brad and how to determine whether or not something is true, you'll see that he refers to the same authority that 3 is questioning, that there seems to be this idea that the better dressed you are, the better groomed you are, the better you are, the more of a claim to truth you can make.
He's a certificate whore, is what he is.
Yeah, exactly. And he's essentially admitting it. He says, well, I make more money than you make. If I make more money than you make, then what I have to say is more important. When I am making it very clear, and this is the reason Brad is really upset, that the money he's making is essentially worthless. And so in an environment where the money is worthless, when it is printed based on nothing, goods or services actually exist to back it, the thing that actually has value, friends, your family, your ability to produce primary goods like agricultural commodities, vegetables.
So here's what I'm gonna say, man, because this is, and I got 6 pages of notes in front of me because I've been taking notes down to do my research. But what I can see with my own eyes is that yes, the fiat currency, American dollar, has gone down in value. My buying power is not as strong as it was 10 years ago. But what I can constantly see is that gold and silver and precious metals, which is what we used to back our dollar on before World War I, is steadily going up, and that's what I see. The central banks are currently. Hold on, Brad. But here, I'm giving you my take and what I witness and what I see, and I'll be more than happy to let you rebut when I'm done. But what I'm saying is a thing that the central banks are currently hoarding and buying. Right, they're buying it up. This is why the shit's going up right now, because there's a fucking demand for it, and a big chunk of that demand is coming from these fucking banks. Okay, so what I have seen is the value of precious metals has gone up. The value of the fiat currency has gone down. I can clearly see this with my own eye, brother. The dollar I'm putting in my retirement right now is not going to be able to give me $1 worth of goods when I go to pull it out here in another 20-something years. So that's what I'm saying. I hear what you're saying. I'm going to do my research, but it's hard to get that side and trust the system when I can clearly see that everything I'm busting my ass and scraping my knuckles for is becoming worthless and more worthless and more worthless every single day. Well, go ahead, Brad. If you want to rebut, you got it.
It's not becoming more worthless. First off, you're talking about trends and dynamics while inflationary growth occurs. But you're sitting there and equating that to a less buying power. Okay, maybe, possibly, consumerism at its finest, capitalism, great. You should be able to make that product and charge. If you can't afford it, well, sorry, your dollar doesn't work. But at the end of the day, that's what capitalism does. Now, the problem with what these idiots are proposing is that you either join in some socialist Bitcoin fucking Ponzi scheme, in which case socialism works great for the first, 3% of its term until it runs out of other people's money. Once it does that, these idiots, they don't know it because they're too stupid. They don't know that shit is exactly what they're proposing. They're just trying to dice it up. These guys are just proposing Marxist economic and probably putting it on some kind of spin because they think somehow they'll have it. When in reality, these guys aren't economists. They don't work in the finance sector. They sit there and read like whatever fucking Reddit threads tell them about economy, and you're taking advice from them. And that's fine. Instead of baseball, he works in the economy. He works on economics. You have a mother who fucking is an actual accountant who can go into further detail. You have a couple. You have Bill on here, who's an economist, economic professor. But shit, why listen to any of us? You got it with these guys.
I'm a financial analyst.
I please point out that appealing to authority as some kind of argument is actually a logical fallacy. To say that you should listen to my argument because somebody told me that I was right is actually a very, no pun intended, bankrupt defense. And this entire conception that in fact what's happening is inflationary growth is I don't know if that's tongue in cheek. I don't know if there's something else going on there, but definitely when you have inflation, you have a growth. It's a very bad growth. It's a growth and a decrease of your purchasing power because they're printing. No, Brad, what I want to know is do you understand how?
Go back.
Yeah, I want to show everyone that I am acting in good faith.
You aren't. I don't care about your good faith.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know why Sig continues to offer you a platform when you're so clearly a worthless,
I don't give a shit.
Angry, ranting lunatic. You really are, and I don't understand why Sig left you.
Hold on 1 second, man, because here's the thing, man, and you told a lie on me, and you're inferring something that's not true, Brad, and I don't appreciate that. So again, my mind isn't 100% made up. And I'm not just taking their advice and just dropping it, okay? What I'm doing is I'm trying to hear both sides because I've done a lot of deep digging these past few weeks on this shit. And what happens is the things that I've come across, the articles I've read, the things that I've watched from people who are respected in the economics. And it aligns with what they're saying. So again, don't put it on me that, oh, you're just taking their advice. And no, what I'm doing is I'm listening. I say, okay, that aligns closely with the things that I've researched, but I'm willing to hear the opposing side. And again, this is why I have 6 pages of notes sitting in front of me right now, jotting down everything that you told me, Brad. Okay, so again, with Diego's point about Bitcoin, it's not necessarily Bitcoin. What I hear as far as the argument, and again, if you think I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to hear it. But what I'm hearing from Diego, it's not specifically Bitcoin, but it's a currency-based that's open format for the public to check and track where everything goes and be able to have some type of accountability to the American people. There's no accountability with this money right now. So whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Dogecoin, whether it's fucking Pussy Coin, whether it's fucking Fart Coin, a system that gives the Americans the advantage to be able to check the records and keep track of everything to make sure everybody's on an equal playing field.
But what you're talking about are appropriations made by Congress where they have to keep records of where they appropriate the budget. But just to be clear, the purpose of the U.S. dollar as defined by law is specifically designed to be private, to protect the privacy of every American citizen. It is the opposite of what you're calling for. If that's what you mean.
What Diego's trying to point out is that people are supposed to be free and secure in their persons and in their property, and the idea that the state will always know how much purchasing power you have, and that somehow is a good thing for them to have, has to be rejected. The state has granted itself, the illegitimate state has granted itself the ability, in the same way that the Federal Reserve created an excuse for removing reserve requirements, it creates a problem and then creation, which always is that we're going to have more ability to determine and control your value expression and currency. We should not accept central bank digital currencies. We should not accept any kind of currency that is wholly and totally controlled or totally and wholly de-anonymized by the government. They will absolutely use it to prevent you from doing anything that they don't want. We saw what happened with the trucker protests. Nobody was convicted for abusing the truckers that way. They literally proved to you that if we know where the money is and where the money goes, if it goes a place that we don't like, we'll stop it. Your ability to freely express yourself will not exist. It cannot exist, and you're a fool to trust an illegitimate state to properly have that power. The founding fathers knew they should never have the power. The only power they need, the only power you should give up, voluntarily delegate to your state and to your federal government, is their ability to mint the money, to create the money, and the person who needs to be transparent is the government. The government turned that on its head and said, oh, well, we need to know what money you have and where your money is and where you spend your money. When in actuality, the truth is that we are the ones with the power and the privacy and the right. We created the government.
So Martin Luther Queen, you're done with
in that capacity, as a servant of the people, we wanted to have the authority to mint a coin to prevent counterfeiting.
Brad, shut the fuck up. Let him talk.
You are insufferable. You are insufferable. Because there is no value in your life.
Again, you still don't. You're like the phone. The fathers didn't want us to know where our money was spent. They actually did. They actually did.
My thing is though, you could debate this shit in a better way, bro.
I don't have to debate it with these incel bros. Here's the thing. The idea that somehow you're saying.
Hear me out. I'm trying to learn from both of y'all.
Okay,
I do think you may have good points, but you the extra shadowing the information.
I can do it because it's all that they got. And now he's sitting there. All right, go ahead.
Doing it because
doing your shit. Doing your shit. You got it.
And he's 100% correct, Brad. You're getting emotional. I mean, again, it's not a good look, bro. You're trying to prove your point, man.
Give me the facts and stuff. And so he went off and said, oh, the founding fathers never intended to have this. Well, first off, the founding fathers really weren't totally concerned with any of the aspects that he was saying in the Federalist or Anti-Federalist papers. But you know what? We digress from that. In fact, the founding fathers were kind of wonky. They actually believed in taxes, and that's not it. They wanted to cling on to their wealth, so they made sure they held on to it. They weren't in for a collectivism fucking bug on fucking currency. In fact, they wanted a broad separation of it as outlined in
many of the state legislations and the houses. In fact, they brought the church. One of the primary reasons under Payne and others in Pennsylvania was to ensure that the church didn't have access to the funds and create distributions because, why? They wanted to keep it. But, you know what? These guys all want to take the Alex Jones fucking Martin Luther Queen speech and fucking put it on steroids and then tell you, this isn't what the founding fathers wanted. But it's not even remotely true. But you guys are reading this, right? Say you're actually going back and looking all this up, and you're reading their articles, and then you're reading the antithesis to the article. Right? You're reading why decisions were made in our current environment, why the modernality, and why certain taxes even have to remain, and why your buying power is actually decreasing versus what actually may or may not be happening, right? You're actually reading up on those. You're reading economic books in mass that grasp an understanding, or are you just reading the sources that these guys pull you from fucking Twitter?
No, what I'm doing is I'm looking at respected economists who have a good following, a good reputation. I'm looking at economists who.
Did you just yell at me for?
Can I answer your question? You gonna let me answer the fucking question, Brad?
I am fucking letting you answer, but did you
okay, then don't cut me off. Don't ask me a question and then 5 words into it, you off. Ask me a question and give me the fucking respect to respond to your question. So what I'm saying is, I'm looking at when they were talking the same shit 5 years ago, 2008, shit like that. Everybody laughed at them. And then what they ended up predicting and saying has been true. Okay? And it makes a lot of fucking sense. So I'm asking you now, why is our fiat currency, why is my dollar devaluing then if what you're saying is true?
There's not one fucking reason for all of it. There's multiple reasons. In fact, the fucking inherent wealth has increased exponential fold. Fucking trade agreements